The Spanish announce table.
You have found pro wrestling's best podcast. I am Tim. That is Tom. We like to talk about pro wrestling. We like to do it with our pro wrestling friends. That's where you come in. If you're watching us live on the YouTube, well, which we do this precisely on the dot exactly every week, live stream at 7:18-ish in the one true time zone, Central Standard Time Zone, my home standard time. Tom, we're going to talk about a lot of wrestling. We have pro wrestling's biggest event coming up this week. We have, a fun AEW Dynamite that happened. We're going to review a bunch of that stuff. Every week we take a trip back in time. We talk about what happened on this day. We have a couple bits of bad news that we've got to get through, right? There's a major one that happened yesterday. There's a major one that happened today. We'll quickly hit on this one that happened today because there's more to unfold with this story, we feel like. Bray Wyatt passed away today, or Wyndham Rotunda, if you will. The man who plays Bray Wyatt, Husky Harris, son of, IRS, which is incredibly sad. And, we don't want to seem, standoffish from this, but obviously this just happened. This was just announced a few minutes before we started recording. So we don't want to misspeak or say something wrong here, right?
And that's the whole reason why I think giving this time, we will talk about it. Obviously, we don't do a podcast daily. So most likely next week, we will kind of maybe do more of a deep dive about the Bray Wyatt character, the Wyndham Rotunda personality, all of those things. But yeah, details are still not released to the public. So it feels rushed to talk about it since we don't even know exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
However, we do know the second bit of bad news. We do know now confirmed information that yesterday, one of the greatest of all time, in some people's eyes, the greatest of all time, Terry Funk had passed away at the age of 79. And we figured let's take a little bit of a deep dive, kind of like how we do with, back in time. Let's take a look at one of the most incredible careers in pro wrestling, and that is obviously of Terry Funk. So, Tim, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and so I did some research about, hey, let's talk about Terry Funk. Yeah. And now I wrote some notes here. Right there, off the top of my head. And I just wanted to go through them. And at any time, Tim, feel free to stop and talk about it.
Looks like you would describe that handwriting as slursive.
Well, when you have a tumor in the arm, it hurts to write.
That's true. Yeah,
okay?
That's true.
Yeah. I'm left-handed, and
it
hurts to write with my left.
All right,
yeah.
I guess I'm a dick. All right, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for the support, Tim. So here we go. All right, so obviously he starts off with being the son of a famous wrestling father, and then his older brother, Dory Funk Jr. So Dory Funk, obviously the father, Dory Funk Jr., being kind of the first one of the sons to get into the wrestling business and make a name for himself. And so from there, they obviously do a tag team. Tim, I think you're frozen on my side.
Yeah, I think so. Keep on. I might have to finagle with it. Keep talking about Terry.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So they obviously start off with a tag team. Him and Dory Funk Jr. Make a name for themselves in the state of Texas as a great tag team. But as their careers continue to advance, Dory Funk Jr. actually gets his first run with the NWA Championship. And then as the Funk brothers kind of expand, they have to then come back home because unfortunately their father had passed away. So they got to take over the territory. But from there, they realize, hey, we're some cult of personalities here. We need to expand our reach. So then they kind of travel the country. And here's just some, again, of the highlights here from when they start that move to really the end of his career. So first off, they become the first the first brothers to be the NWA heavyweight champions. So both Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk become NWA champions. The only time, at least in my recollection, that brothers have been NWA champions, which again, at that time is a major deal because you have Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Jack Briscoe, Jerry Briscoe.
In progress.
You've got a ton of real heavy hitters. And here is Terry Funk and Dory Funk making a name for themselves as well. So then obviously from there, they take their talents to Japan. They then become honestly two of the most beloved non-Japanese wrestlers of all time. This is where
1 second here while we try to get back. Sorry for the delays here.
They got a lot of matches
progress.
with a lot of top talent, Baba and all of that. Also, during this time is when we get the infamous Terry Funk Forever promo. Forever, forever. Iconic if you're a pro wrestling fan. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it, Terry Funk Forever. I guarantee you're going to love what you see and what you hear there. And then we get into his WWF career. And so one thing that's pretty incredible just to consider is that this is a guy who came into the territory of WWF and said, hey, Junkyard Dog, Hulk Hogan, we're going to wrestle. I'm going to be the crazy Texan. This is when he has the branding iron and the cowboy hat and the chaps and whatnot. And he's out there. Almost at this time, you could start to see early shades of, oh, this guy's crazy, right? It's not the extreme hardcore necessarily, but it's flirting with it. And after his stint in WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it, that's then when we get into some crazy stuff. He goes over to Japan and he starts doing these death matches with Onita, exploding barbed wire death match, which was just off the charts, incredible, never been seen really, especially from a guy with a stature of Terry Funk's status. And he's doing all of this crazy stuff. And one thing I forgot, and I even missed it on my notes, and I was told myself I was going to say it, another iconic thing that Terry Funk did. And again, I haven't even got to ECW yet, right? Go back to his time in Memphis, the empty arena match between him and Jerry Lawler, insane. Think about it. Rock and Mankind, Mick Foley, tried to replicate that and still didn't reach the kind of heights and visceral reactions that Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler got. So that was one thing I missed in the 70s. But yeah, let's get back onto it. So yeah, Japan death matches, killing it. Then he goes, let's come back to America. And kind of at this time, he's doing both. So he's a babyface in Japan and a heel in America. So he comes over to WCW and just goes right after the top guy, just like he did in WWF, going after Hogan. WCW, he's going after Ric Flair. And we get some iconic matches. One of my favorite personal matches of Terry Funk is a cage match, a tag team cage match. Great Muta and Terry Funk versus Sting and Ric Flair. Awesome match. Obviously, I think from this stint, his most iconic match is the I Quit match. Meltzer gave it 5 stars. They also had a Great American Bash match that was really, really good as well. You also get the Dusty Sucks Eggs, as you can see here on our one shots. His feuds with Dusty Rhodes was also a little bit before this time, but around this era. And then, as I mentioned, we do the death matches, and he starts to do more death matches with this upstart, this young upstart who kind of lost an ear, we think. And his name is Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. And these two guys are a hand in glove kind of fit. They are just perfect for each other in death matches all across Japan. They bring that over to America in a little promotion called Eastern Championship Wrestling that would then change into Extreme Championship Wrestling. And there you go with more iconic moments. You have Terry Funk and Mankind getting all the chairs thrown into the ring. You have it was a Public Enemy, but still at this time, the ring collapsing because of all the fans and all of this kind of upstart, what am I trying to say here? The bubbling up of a new subculture of pro wrestling. And then you take that momentum from Terry Funk and you go right into Barely Legal 1997. Becomes the heavyweight champion in the main event of their very first pay-per-view. And he's known as the old man. But Tim, we ain't done. Because then he says, hey, I've been Terry Funk for a while. People love Terry Funk. I love Terry Funk. Been doing these death matches. My guy Mick Foley, now he's over there in WWF. I think I want to join him, so I'm gonna go back. But I don't really want to be. I don't really want to be Terry Funk. How about someone gives me a chainsaw and will call me Chainsaw Charlie?
Yeah.
And what the fuck?
Yeah.
This crazy guy running with a chainsaw. They're, again, another iconic moment in a career filled with them. Their feud with the New Age Outlaws. You have them getting tossed off of a stage while they're in a trash can. They win the tag team championships at WrestleMania 14. And you know, are doing amazing stuff like that. And again, we can, one last thing I'll say, because I feel like I'm being a little bit long-winded here, but just consider that, again, he started in NWA when NWA was a thing. He went all the way to WCW 2000, and I'm not joking, go watch it, TNA 2004. So this guy was in the same locker room as Prime Harley Race and Prime AJ Styles. Think about that. Think about that one man going across them all the decades there and being in all these locker rooms.
And competing at both of those guys' levels at those times, too. Like, not even just sharing the locker room, like, was wrestling against those kind of fellas.
Yeah. His matches, to me, are my style of matches. Obviously, if you've listened to this podcast more than once, you know that my favorite wrestler right now is Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is the 2023 version of Terry Funk. You know what I mean? There's a New York flavor to Eddie Kingston where Terry Funk had the Texas flavor, but they're the same person. You know what I mean? Cut from the same cloth. Some of the other iconic feuds that Terry Funk had that I would say, if you don't know about his career, go check it out. ECW, his promo battles with Raven. There's so many backstage Raven promos where it's just one shot, him and Terry Funk, and they get into a fist fight that I don't think was planned. It was just insane. That feud was great. His promos when he came back for a cup of coffee with Tommy Dreamer was insane. As mentioned, Ric Flair over there, Baba and Stan Hansen and Brody and all of these guys. It's so crazy to consider he's 5 different wrestlers, right? You could say, oh, the Hall of Fame guy that was the first brother heavyweight champions, that should go in the Hall of Fame. Well, that's not it. Oh, okay. So you mean like the Japanese deathmatch guy? Yeah, but that's not it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we can continue to do it.
And I'm not trying to compare Jericho to Terry Funk, but very Jericho-esque in that, like, you're right, he had this kind of career, and then he had this career over here, and then he had this character over here, and this career over here, and like all of them separate would have been like, man, that's top-notch stuff. That's, you know what I mean? Like, that's high-level stuff everywhere he went. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I grew up a golden era WWE kid, right? Rise of Hogan, WWF, you know, turning into Monday Night Raw thing. So I missed all of that kind of pre-stuff of the Terry Funk era. I did see some of this ECW stuff and then the post, the Chainsaw Charlie and those sorts of things. But I've always known Terry Funk is Terry Funk, right? I've known him to be probably the most influential pro wrestler of multiple generations.
Oh, hey, and fun fact also, he influenced wrestlers to maybe try something different. If you recall, he's in fucking Roadhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's the fucking guy who got into movies so that he could get union health care and keep his SAG, so he would do commercials randomly throughout the time. He would also do different movies like Roadhouse, like Over the Top. Do you remember Over the Top?
Yes.
Where Sylvester Stallone? He's in that as well.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. And it just, there's another avenue of influencing people to say, hey, if you're kind of tired of taking chairs to the head, try a movie. He did it. You know what I mean? Obviously, Rowdy Piper did it as well. But like Terry Funk was also in that same kind of
You can take some of these same bumps, but you get a take 2. Right? You get a pause.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or someone walks in for you and they take it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then also, you know, wrestling documentaries, let's not forget that the "I'm not booked" and "barely legal" was said to Terry Funk because of his retirement match against Bret Hart, which was one of 68 retirements he had, which became another trope of Terry Funk that was just so much fun.
Again, I mean, I don't say that lightly. The most influential wrestler of multiple generations, right? You hear old heads talk about it. You hear guys like Eddie Kingston talk about it, who, some people will consider him an old head. I understand it's a relative term, but just multiple generations list him as a Mount Rushmore guy. And there's none other like him. He is... You remember when you said when people who don't really watch wrestling a whole lot imitate a pro wrestler, they're doing Macho Man? When people think of old school, riding the roads, NWA wrestler, they think of Terry Funk. That is the guy.
I 100% agree. Yeah, and just one of the things the last 24 hours, which I've been doing, is just watching Terry Funk matches. I've watched Terry Funk wrestle Tully Blanchard, Bret Hart, Axel Rotten, Sandman, and the barely legal 3-way where it was Shane Douglas, Sandman, and then he beats Raven for the championship. I've watched those 5 matches today. So just Tully Blanchard to Axel Rotten, both great matches. Ric Flair, Bret Hart, both great matches. It's incredible. Anyhow, the thing though that I was going to say that I really like the most now that I'm appreciating as an older wrestling fan is how he has a sense of comedy, sense of humor while he wrestles, but at no point do you think, oh, he can't kick someone's ass. He can do I'm rolling around in the dirt and mud and stuff. But then if you really want a fist fight, I'm probably going to knock you out. And it's crazy to have the realism of kicking your ass, but kind of the humor of a comedy wrestle, which he never really was, but you understand what I mean.
You know what? I want to make a hard distinction now that we've never done in this show, in the 10-year history. But we've talked about this list of guys that we said is they are on the list of thinks this shit is real list, right? But there's guys like Terry Funk and Eddie Kingston who make you feel like they think this shit is real, right? But I don't get the feel that they think this shit is real. They're just so good at this, right? You feel like they think this shit is real, but not in the bad way of Punk and FTR, CM FTR, yeah. But I think Terry Funk is just one of those where you could suspend your disbelief the moment Terry Funk walked on the screen.
And the attribute that I would attribute to him and also guys like Eddie Kingston is being present in the moment. So for example, go watch some of those WCW matches he has with Flair and Sting and things like that. And he's doing crazy things because he's paying attention to what's happening and he can play off of it, right? He's not doing at the 4-minute mark, we are going to then throw me to the outside. He'll just go to the outside because maybe some fans are kind of, looking up in the lights. So he's going to drag their attention back to him, right? Stuff like that. Another great example is just from last night's Dynamite, Eddie Kingston, when Renee Paquette walks up to him and tries to do an interview and he pushes the microphone away. That wasn't written, right? That was such a genuine thing, but it's because both Terry Funk and Eddie Kingston are in the moment and know, this is what I would do. This is what my character or me would do in this situation. And so that's where it's that's what makes those kind of wrestlers just outstanding to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a method acting, if you will, almost. It's great.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Now, and it's sad, losing a legend like Terry Funk. I think we did know that Terry Funk was in poor health recently. So I don't want to say it came out of left field or anything like that, but it was, it still is always sad. And just it's a shot to the heart when you have a connection to these folks. Again, Tom and I have never met. I don't know if you've met Terry Funk in any meet and greets or anything like that, but even outside of that, we don't know the man Terry Funk, but we've had these connections, right? The man entertained us over years, the stories he's told, and it's just sad. It's a gut punch, Anybody just tuning in, of course, we also briefly mentioned the Bray Wyatt passing that was just announced shortly, kind of before we went live, so we haven't really dug deep into that, and we'll maybe discuss that more next week. That is sad as well. It's just this this Terry Funk thing though, it's felt from the top down. I can't, everybody's just kind of like, you almost don't know what to say, and we've said a lot, but because there's just you've said a lot and you can't say enough. There's not enough to say.
And one thing that I will say that is the silver lining in especially a guy like Terry Funk's career when he passes away, and there's been done before when Dusty Rhodes has passed away, things like that. But especially with this, age of internet, social media, whatever you want to call it, you get to discover new things that maybe you didn't know. So for example, I told you this through Facebook, Twitter, one of Instagram, I forget where I saw it, but being a Terry Funk fan right here, look at this, Funk you, here's the action figure, Terry Funk, right? There's things I didn't know that I'm discovering right now. I was telling you before, there was a match between him and Stan Hansen that I guess was at a fair next to the river, and Stan Hansen was disqualified for, quote, and this is what they said over the PA, Stan Hansen has been disqualified for throwing Terry Funk in the river. And you see Terry Funk and like crawling to like make it out of the water.
What a trip it would be to be able to hop in the Spanish announce time machine and go listen to them work this up, behind,
that's
the curtain at the river, right? And be like, listen, or yeah, maybe it's on the fly. He's like, listen, throw me in the river. Be like, dude, I'm not going to throw you in the river. You don't know the fucking current. Like, just fucking throw me in the river, goddammit, or I'm going to kick you in the nuts, right? Like, all right, fine, fuck it. Bitch. Fucking throw you in the river. Or, I guess what you probably didn't have to do a lot of convincing to ask Stan Hansen to throw you. So, Stan Hansen be like, all right, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah. And so that to me is the silver lining. And again, as you said, it is very unfortunate when any of these legends pass away because they can't share any more of their stories in real time, right? We only have the memories that we have. But with social media, one of the things that has been enjoyable that I've been finding throughout this time is, again, those little moments like the Stan Hansen match or the full promo of Forever from Terry Funk out in Tokyo, Japan. So it's like those things have been really fun, which it has been enjoyable. It's sad that we have to come together, quote unquote, to do that, but it is still a silver lining that you can enjoy on social media sites if you search Terry Funk. Yeah.
Well, all right, we will continue on with the show then, and we have a lot of exciting stuff to get into. We looked at a sad thing in the past. We're going to look at some fun things in the past. And then we're going to look to the future for pro wrestling's biggest event coming up this weekend. And I'm giddy with excitement. I was telling my boss today. Like, I couldn't shut up about it. I'm getting excited to talk about that. But first, some less somber things. We're going to go back in time. And we're going to talk about what happened on this day in pro wrestling history. For any new listeners / viewers, we like to do this every week. We go over what, the days of next week, Monday through Friday, something that happened on that day in pro wrestling history, so you can come armed with some factoids to impress your friend, (S), right? I don't know what you're like. I don't know if you're a nice person or not. Yeah. Tom, are you ready for this? Are you buckled in? Are you ready?
Uh-huh. Come on.
Let's go. Let's see what happened. August 28, 2000. WCW Nitro was held in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
The Dark Carnival of Vampiro, Shaggy 2 Dope, and Violent J defeated 3 count of Evan Courageous, Shane Helms, and Shannon Moore.
Those are your guys, the ICP.
Yeah. Well, they're a little weird. Lance Storm defeated Sergeant AWOL in a tables match. That's the thing. Rick Steiner defeated Mike Awesome in a bunkhouse brawl match. The
if
Great
you don't
Muta.
Like me, bite me.
Bite me. Which, you know what? Not bad. I thought that was decent. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that would catch on. I was like, people will say that. The fucking dudes with the barbed wire tattoo rings would love that, right? Drinking their fucking Busch Lights. You don't like me? Bite me. We should start it again. We could probably make $1 million selling fucking cheap T-shirts. Put Trump's face on it and like, if you don't like me, bite me. And just fucking sell it roadside at fucking NASCAR events and shit.
Well, unfortunately, you could just keep Rick Steiner's face on it and probably still hit that same
Get the
demo.
same thing.
But,
Yeah, he would endorse it. Get him to sign it. He'll come to the meet and greet.
All right.
Okay.
What else we got?
Back to this.
Great
the
Muta.
Great Muta and Sting wrestled to a no contest draw.
In 2000?
Yeah. Yeah. August 28, 2000.
That's insane.
Sting is all over the place.
1989 they wrestled.
Yeah.
They wrestled in 1989 and 2000.
And like 2022, right? Like, didn't they do it?
They did a tag match together. Yeah.
Forever. Just fucking fight forever. Yeah. All right.
God,
and Kevin Nash defeated Booker T to win the World Heavyweight title in a match where which wrestler was the special guest referee?
I would guess 2000. I think Scott Hall was kind of out of it, so he wasn't there. I think they were kind of leaning on the old heads, so I'm going to go Ric Flair.
It was a sleeveless referee, shirted up, Jeff Jarrett. Your favorite.
And I should have known
referee
that.
shirt with a collar, black collar, no sleeves.
Is this when he was in the
Jarrett.
NWO? When
I
it was
think
like
this
him
was
and
like-
Bret Hart and Kevin
Well, and
Nash?
I think, and Kevin Nash, because I think the special enforcer was Scott Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a trap for Booker T, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the black and white trap.
I think.
Bret,
I
Booker
didn't go
T.
back to watch it because I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you ain't gonna do that. Come on, easy.
All right, let's hop in the Spanish announce time machine and go. August 29th, 1992. Oh, I'm excited for this one. WWF SummerSlam was held in front of just over 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium in London, England. What's old is new, right? At this time, this was the largest attendance for a professional wrestling event in history. Shawn Michaels and Rick the Model Martel wrestled to a no-contest draw in a no-hitting-in-the-face match. The Natural Disasters retained the World Tag Team titles, defeating the Beverly Brothers. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, retained the World Heavyweight title when he lost via countout to the Ultimate Warrior. And the British Bulldog won the Intercontinental title, defeating another one of Tom's favorites,
Bret Hart.
Bret the Hitman Hart. Doing the good job to his British buddy so he can stand there and hold that IC title. That was a hell of a crowd. That was a big event. SummerSlam 92 is one of their best SummerSlams to this day, I think.
Yeah. And again, one thing that I dislike is how Bret Hart would love to tell you every single time that British Bulldog could barely move around during that match. And if it wasn't for me and my professionalism and all my great moves, that match would have sucked. Come on, man. Like, British Bulldog isn't even here to defend himself against that. And I'm not saying he was or wasn't that state, but that's just a needless thing to say during
why
that
keep
time.
shitting on him now about it? Like, let's go, man. Yeah. But interesting. Wembley Stadium, just over 80,000 fans. Largest attendance for a professional wrestling event in history all those years ago. Here we are again, right? History repeats. That's why we take these trips and see what happened. August 30th, 1998. WWF SummerSlam was held in New York City. D'Lo Brown retained the European title, defeating Val Venus via disqualification. X-Pac defeated Jeff Jarrett in a hair versus hair match. The New Age Outlaws won the World Tag Team titles, defeating Mick Foley in a handicap match, which is interesting.
Okay.
Triple H won the Intercontinental title, defeating The Rock in a ladder match. Stone Cold Steve Austin retained the World Heavyweight title, defeating The Undertaker. Jacqueline and Mark Marrow lost an intergender tag team match against Sable and this wrestler who was making his WWF pay-per-view debut.
What? Okay. Sable had someone debuting with him.
Yep.
And it was
pay-per-view
Mark
debut.
Mero.
The person had debuted, but it's their pay-per-view debut. Mm-hmm.
And it was against Mark Mero and who?
Jacqueline.
Okay.
This thing.
Mm-hmm. Edge. I don't know.
It is Edge. It is Edge. And I like that. And I specifically picked that one out because there's a lot of rumors here, right? Are we going to see Edge at All Out? And maybe that's in your picks. Maybe I don't want to spoil some of that. But could we be seeing another pay-per-view debut for Edge all these years later? Interesting, right? Yeah, interesting.
Very interesting. I just literally guessed because I just said on this day, and I was like, you know what? I'm saying his name. I knew nothing.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it is sort of the namesake of. On this day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his music. He's in the news.
Right.
Yeah, it's Edge.
Yeah.
That was a good match, by the way. The match that he had with Sheamus on Friday Night SmackDown. You know, I like to give a lot of hell to WWE. And deservingly so. But however, I will acknowledge good things when I see them. And I did take the time to watch that match. And both guys were incredible. Side note, we act like Sheamus was like the young guy in that match. He's 45. Okay. He ain't like young either. You know what I mean? This wasn't just like Edge on his last legs versus the in prime upstart, wrestler. This was another guy that's maybe on his last leg, which is having Sheamus is on an all-time run right now. Like ever since he got hooked up with Drew McIntyre and Gunther and then did his Brawling Brutes thing, outstanding. Anyhow, I'm sorry. Continue.
No need to be sorry. That was good. All right, let's. You already have the answer to this one. August 31st, 1983. All Japan Pro Wrestling held a special event in Tokyo, Japan to mark the retirement of a beloved superstar. This show would feature the retiring wrestler in a bloody tag team match with his real-life brother against Stan Hansen and Terry Gordy. This would, however, eventually prove to be one of many official retirements for this
Terry Funk forever, man. Love Terry
Funk forever. And this is the forever match of which you spoke earlier in our sort of tribute and breakdown of the career of Terry Funk. And again, we won't dig into it here because we said a lot of things, but yeah, amazing spot here. I mean, this was a match. I have seen this.
Well, I will say one quick note about the forever thing. I think some newer fans think that that's like a wrestling, I'm going to wrestle forever, which I think kind of took a life of its own every time he came back from a retirement. It's like, oh, Terry Funk forever. And then they would kind of play that clip, which got more notoriety. But he's talking about Japan. He's like, Japan is number one forever. That is not, he's just like, I love it here forever.
Yeah,
my wife and me, we love it here. Like that's what he's saying. And so anyhow, I just thought that was a fun side note about the
forever. But now it took on a bit of a different life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Rest in peace, Terry Funk, man.
Indeed.
September 1st, 1979. One of pro wrestling's most influential, historically significant dates featured an event in Brazil that totally, absolutely, definitely happened for realsies.
What? I don't know what I'm supposed to say there.
A tournament was held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to crown the first WWF Intercontinental Champion. A tournament that Patterson would win. A tournament that actually happened. 100% serious. True facts.
Yeah, let's just say that out loud, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. This was for the Intercontinental Championship, correct?
Mm-hmm. The brand new Intercontinental title.
And we're going to do it in a market we've never done before.
Rio de Janeiro. And by the way, we didn't tape it. We didn't tell anybody about it beforehand. We don't have any evidence of it. But that guy won.
Who did he face?
Bunch of dudes. Tournament.
Bunch of guys. Tournament. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
By the way, one of our handpicked guys who's going to be a right-hand man for the next 40 years.
Crazy how that works. Crazy how that works.
Yeah, totally happened. So that's all we had, man, for On This Day. Should we discuss what you just sent me? It seems somewhat official. I've seen some other people kind of mention it.
Yeah. So again, this is all developing as we're recording. Unfortunately, we have done this before. If you recall back in the day, we were live when Ultimate Warrior's passing happened. So not the most fun time to be recording podcast. However, we are, so we might as well talk about it. It has been, I guess, confirmed. Sean Ross Sapp, who I give a lot of grief to. However, he does have good connections and for the most part does a good journalistic job. He said he was, quote, I was given permission to reveal that earlier this year, Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, got COVID that exacerbated a heart issue. There was a lot of positive progress towards a recovery or towards a return and his recovery. Unfortunately, today he suffered a heart attack and passed away. So very unfortunate circumstances, especially being so young. A heart attack is obviously a very sudden thing to happen. And it seemed like there was a lot of, like he said, positive progress, but unfortunately today was not one of those days.
Today was not one of those days. Yeah. And, I mean, again, it is sad passing of Bray Wyatt. Hey, look, there was a time where I thought Bray Wyatt might change wrestling, right? So there's a lot to say about Bray Wyatt, right? I mean, there's been some ups and downs of the Bray Wyatt career, but all of that's for nothing now, right? Like the man has passed and family members are affected. To not be too much of a dick, we urge you here to make sure you get vaccinations. And I mean, I understand you can get COVID whether you're vaccinated or not. I don't know if Bray Wyatt was or not. Like, I don't know anything about that. I'm not saying anything.
Just a general statement.
Was or not, but a general statement for reasons like this, you know? And that sucks, man. Bray Wyatt, definitely one of the most uniquely creative characters I think we've ever seen.
Yeah, and obviously in his short career, in comparison to others, there was so many just incredible moments. Some of the ones that stick out to me, obviously the Firefly Funhouse with John Cena during a time of COVID when we didn't know really what a cinematic match would look like in WWE.
I'd show somebody that today.
Off the charts, especially hardcore fans that got all the other little details. Outstanding. Obviously his work in NXT with the Wyatt family, then moving up to the main roster, the Daniel Bryan story, I think was something that was really good. The lead up to WrestleMania with John Cena was outstanding. Unfortunately, the match, the wrong person won in my opinion, but again, that's creative differences, not anything personal. And then the last really, oh my God, hell yeah. Moment for me was that entrance at SummerSlam when it was the Fiend against Finn Balor and he just decapitated Finn Balor by just like snapping his neck. Like Finn did nothing to him, but that new song, you know, at the time it was the new song, walking with his head on a fucking lantern. I mean, that still gives me goosebumps. That moment was fucking rad, man. Like, ooh, I love that. So, you know, one thing that we're also not going to act as if we are now painting everything with rose-colored glasses. We were very critical of this last run that he had done when he came back. But as we've said a billion times, and we'll say it to anyone who's a new listener or new viewer, everything that we're saying is purely what we see on television. As you can tell, we're only talking about this when it's confirmed news. We don't do the, hey, so it's speculated that Christian actually doesn't like Swerve Strickland, and so this is a bad tag team match. Like, we don't do any of that because who cares? We're not working there, right? We also don't talk about, like, it's incredible to note 80,000 people are going to be at a wrestling event, but we're not going to say, oh man, it was only the second most profitable event because we don't make the money.
Fuck yeah, yeah.
We're giving the money.
I gotta pay money to watch this bitch. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So
our fucking money,
right? So that's all to say. When we were critical of the Bray Wyatt character and the Bray Wyatt kind of creative process that we're seeing, it's not Wyndham Rotunda. Obviously Jeff Jarrett, Bret Hart, Young Bucks. We've been critical of those. It's purely what we're seeing because we don't know these people. You know what I mean? So with Bray Wyatt though, but I just wanted to acknowledge that because I don't want people to be like, you hated.
Maybe some minor exceptions for Bret Hart and Phil Brooks, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, but you're right. What I mainly want to address is like, I don't want people to be like, hey, so on episode 418, you were super critical of Bray Wyatt in his lead up to LA Knight. And it's like, yeah, because that sucked. But like, I bet he was still a great father. You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with that.
God, that was the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Yeah. And side note, not to reveal too many things here, but Bray Wyatt had a daughter who was on my brother's daughter's cheer team. So my brother can tell you Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, because we were Steiner brother fans as a kid, but he quickly got out of that phase and I stayed in it. But he didn't know who Bray Wyatt was. He only found out through conversation with Wyndham Rotunda. Oh, I'm a pro wrestler. And then he obviously calls me and I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, great guy. Super easy to talk to. Obviously kind of physically like impressive,
yeah,
especially at a, I think at the time it's a fourth grade girls cheer competition.
Yeah. He was a wide dude when he comes in. Like that's probably because you're probably like, what do you do? Right. Like, because you're something. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And all the tattoos and the crazy hair and all of that. So again, speaking only from secondhand, my brother's experience with Wyndham Rotunda, a very personable and nice gentleman to talk to. So again, that's why this sucks, right?
And
it's more than
notwithstanding a daughter, family, like right, like JoJo, the ring announcer, right, is his wife, and so like there's a lot. These unexpected things suck. This is another thing too. Like, remember your loved ones and your family, right? Like this is, these sorts of things are unpredictable and unavoidable, right? So enjoy these moments when you have them with folks,
Definitely. Yeah. This is, and just a side note where my brain goes to, and I am not a father, so I will never experience this. However, just the idea IRS is losing a child, like that's
right.
You know what I mean? Like, not to get off on a side tangent, but like the cycle of life is not supposed to go that way. You know what I mean? And so
well, and a daughter is not supposed to, like at that age, right, is not supposed to deal with that then, right?
Right,
like,
exactly. Yeah. So anyhow, again, we got confirmation from someone that I trust as far as real news. So that's why I talked about it.
Sean Ross Sapp, if he said, I have permission from the people's family, I believe that, right? When he says, sources tell me something, sometimes we're a little iffy, but that's pretty clear. Like, we don't think the guy's going to outright lie, right? And
exactly,
so
100%.
We'll roll with that. And of course, maybe there's more even to come, but that sounds just really shitty all around. So we will try to re-steer back into some pro wrestling talk of current times. Another way that you can contact us, and there's many ways to contact us, you can send us an email and we'll read it here on the show to tableshow@gmail.com. You can use hashtag #tweetthetable on Twitter.
Twitter. Side note. No. Side note. It's Twitter. We talked about this before. Go to the website. Go on your browser and go to your website. You know what you're going to? Twitter.com.
Yeah, go to x.com. Yeah, where are you going to go?
Well, you go to X, you might find some things you might not want to see.
By saying go to x.com, I don't mean you should go to x.com. I'm saying I meant that as a shorthand form of if you were to go to x.com, right? We do not suggest that you go to x.com on the Spanish announce table. I want to be clear about that.
No, but I'm just saying, as a side note, you're still going to twitter.com. So the discussion of what do we call it, we still call it Twitter. you sillies.
Yeah.
Like, let's grow
Yeah.
up. Until
So
they
you
call
can
it
get us,
something else.
you can use hashtag tweet the table on there. We'll read those on the show. You can also use that email, tableshow@gmail.com, to use what I like to call the Spanish announce answering machine. You send us an audio clip of yourself talking, right? Talk about some wrestling, ask us a question, right? Give us a topic to discuss or something. Make it brief, right? We don't need no 8-minute diatribes here. And we got one of those from our good buddy Ash. Tom, you ready for that?
Hell yeah. I'm always ready.
What's up, boys? It's Ash. I got a question for you this week. It was supposed to be last week's question, but I got really drunk and forgot to send it after recording, which was very smart of me. Anyway, what storylines do you think ran on for way too long, and what storylines do you think got cut off before it got really interesting? Yeah, okay, that's it, actually. That's it for me. All right, you have a good weekend. I hope you enjoy the show this weekend. I'll be there live at Wembley, and I'll see you next week. Oh, wait, actually, one more thing. T-Mac, I lost more money on Sean O'Malley's knockout there because I had money on Aljo to win it. But no, he showed poor fight IQ and got his ass knocked out for it, so that's great. Anyways, peace.
Losing money on them fights.
Well, Aljamain Sterling shouldn't have taken the fight because he was already injured walking into it. But the UFC is a horrible organization, so they make their fighters fight for pennies when they want to, not when the fighters want to. So anyhow, that sucks. But Sean O'Malley is good, but let's have him run it back when Aljo's ready. Anyhow, let's talk about storylines. Do you want to go first?
Well, I mean, an instant one that comes to mind of going on way too long is the big one that's going on way too long right now, and that's the Bloodline. That comes to easy recency bias comes to mind. It's going on way too long. Hot take, even though it was one of the greatest pro wrestling storylines ever, the NWO storyline ran way too long.
Oh my God, yes.
Way too long.
To a certain extent, so did DX, right? There was a time period where DX was in the corporation, but then Triple H wasn't there, but then Road Dogg was there, but then X-Pac was with Kane, and then that also ran on way too long as well.
I'm blanking at the moment. Maybe more will come to mind as we discuss on the other way of like things that got cut too short. The Summer of Punk comes to mind, right? The initial early Summer of Punk is the first thing that comes to mind, but what do you got for some of these answers?
To clarify, WWE Summer of Punk, because ROH is also considered the Summer of Punk. But yes,
correct. But the Punk leaves with the WWE title storyline. Yeah.
Right. Yes, that was rushed 1,000,000%. I'm going to answer this a little bit differently as far as rushed, because I don't think the storyline was rushed. I think the timing of it was rushed, and that is the invasion with WCW and ECW. I think if you hold your cards and wait till those contracts come up, and then you can do Hogan, Nash, Hall, Goldberg. Hopefully you get Sting with that group of people instead of Jindrak and O'Hare and not to
Lance
cut
Storm,
those guys down. Lance Storm. But yeah, those weren't the fucking guys that we were wanting to see. So that was rushed in that sense, as it was just, well, we got to do who's a DDP. Well, they like him, right? Okay, he's the star. What? He's a stalker? Sure. Throw him out there. Like, what? Does no one want to think this through? So I would say that is a rushed storyline, although the storyline itself was fine. It was just timing of it.
Yeah.
Ones that went on too long, I'm going to be kind of critical here because it just didn't make any sense. But this whole Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland, what the fuck are we doing? Is this but we're not getting a payoff. So is it, are we here? We're there. So I don't like that one. That's not good. Bloodline, I would say, as far as the beats is fine, but as I think you would agree, we do 3 weeks where is Sami Zayn liked by Roman? And it's like, get to the fucking point, right?
Right.
The story is still good. How long you're telling because like the NWO sucked when it was Stevie Ray and Disco Inferno or whatever, right? Like, we've gone on too long here. Like, we're still doing good stuff, but fuck, man,
we could have done this in 6 months and we've done it in 14 now. Yeah.
That's the part that I don't like about it, is how long it's fucking taking. Yeah, what are some other ones?
This
I think
Outcast thing kind of came up lame. I think they're still like telling it, but we thought it was going to go a different direction. Is maybe a different way to answer that question too, right?
Mhm.
That one bugs me in recency. Yeah.
The higher power, where it turned out to be Vince. I think that was rushed. I think that was too soon because we just went, oh, it's Vince.
Yeah, the anonymous GM went on way too long and had no real payout, right?
Yeah. Here we go. Now we've just opened the floodgates. Something that sucked and also went on too long. Vince McMahon's son. Remember that? And it ended up being Hornswoggle. Right?
When all signs were to Kennedy, right?
Yeah. Just shit the bed. So
that one fits so much because like he had the walk, the shit, like that would have been so perfect. That would have been amazing.
Oddly enough, anonymous GM and Vince McMahon's son both ended up being Hornswoggle.
Oh.
So there you go. There you go.
No, more Vince McMahon humor. Don't know what to do with it. Put it on the midget.
Yeah. I mean,
I say that as a term McMahon.
As he would say,
my term.
Yes. Right. Of course. Yeah. No, I got that. Yeah. And so those are the ones that come to mind kind of quickly, but I bet you if we were to, go back in time, we could probably find a Road Warrior. Yeah. We could find some ones there but for recency bias, that's what I would say.
You know what? I forgot, you had sent me a clip that you wanted me to get and I forgot to grab it, but you also sent me one last week and this is just fun that I want to throw in here for a moment. You said you wanted to use this in the future and we never touched on it last week, but since we're doing these clips again, let's talk about this.
Big Stoke.
Oh, did it not come through? I don't think it came through. Maybe.
No, it did. I heard it. Okay, I heard it.
Right. So yeah, isn't that fun?
I love. Yeah, Stokely Hathaway. By the way, I know $9.99 for a subscription. We have 600 million subscriptions. Streaming is obviously the biggest con pulled on the American public because cable should have been the way, but nope, we decided to separate it all out and make you pay twice as much. Anyhow, I will say the Ring of Honor subscription of $9.99 is pretty great in the sense of the whole catalog of past events. Plus, right now, the story that Stokely Hathaway and Samoa Joe have going on is pretty insane. Also, Dalton Castle and the boys are hitting on all cylinders. And then you have other, secondary fun things like Shibata as your pure champion, things like that. But Stokely Hathaway is, as expected, just absolutely killing it in all
Big
aspects.
Stoke.
The best. The best.
He's also the guy that said, God, well, first of all, yeah, he had.
You raggedy bitch.
And then
the worst crime you can commit is dick riding without a license.
I mean, he's the best.
That's a pretty bad crime. That's bad. You don't want to be caught without a license when you're dick riding. So, all right, I think, was there more or did we answer Ash's question?
I think we did. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of do a blended version of recaps and picks. So we are going to go through the match order as I see it on Wikipedia. So again, we do not read spoilers. So if Collision has a match that was announced, it will not be factored into our picks. If it is such a monumental match that we must have a pick on it, Tim and I will converse and then let you know on next week's show. But I'm only seeing this as it's shown on Wikipedia. So as mentioned, if it gets added, won't be factored into the picks. However, these picks mean something again. So I think we've said it on the podcast, but if not, we're saying it here. The loser of this picks for All In must wear on the show, and maybe more on the show, the newest shirt in Shop AEW from our beloved Jeff Jarrett. And so loser has to wear a Jeff Jarrett shirt. It's the AEW one that they just released on shopaew.com.
I'm sure it's glorious.
Oh, it's an old man
It's got
Jeff
a
Jarrett
wolf on
not
it.
wearing a shirt. Yeah, well, it's an old man without a shirt on, so that should right there be
I
enough.
feel like it's got to have a wolf howling at a moon, right?
It should, but it doesn't. So Tim will have to wear that when the shipment comes in after.
Yeah,
he
everybody
loses.
who's watched our picks games over the years is confident that you're going to take this home.
Hey, do we forget about the time period of picks where you thought John Cena was turning heel every single pay-per-view?
That was summertime, so maybe the heat gets to me, right? Maybe sometimes my brain gets a little fried from this humidity that we've been having here in Kansas City. Fuck my life, it's been hot here.
Oh my goodness, it has been. All right, so let's kick it off with the 0 hour. And the first match I have, the 0 hour buy-in. And this is the first match that's listed. Yeah. The first match that is listed, it is for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. It is Aussie Open versus MJF and Adam Cole. So before we do our picks, Tim, let's talk about last night. So Aussie Open defend their tag team championships against the Hardys, which is a good team to beat, which they do. Fine match. They carried the Hardys because the Hardys are tough to move around right now, and they did it, so credit to them. Post-match, MJF and Adam Cole run down because they're beating up on the Hardys. They then do the whole thing. They try to do a double clothesline. That doesn't work. MJF tries to do the kangaroo kick. That doesn't work. Then MJF holds one of Aussie Open. I think it was Fat Aussie Open. And Adam Cole does the kick. Fat one moves. MJF catches the kick. Then there's a stare down. Then there's a shoulder check. Walk off. Stops. MJF grabs the ring. Looks at it a few times, then puts it away, yells Cole, and they hug. On top of that, we also got some good character work before the main event where Renee Paquette sat down with both MJF and Adam Cole. What did you make of the interviews and also the closing segment?
So the MJF one, all right, so here's the scenario I was watching the show at. A little peek behind the curtain. We were at the emergency vet last night, my wife and I. Dog's at the vet, going through some things. He's home, we're fine, but, so while we're waiting on some results from some blood work and stuff, I'm watching the show on my phone with headphones in, and MJF has me laughing, which looks like a poor spot to be laughing, right? I'm at the emergency vet, somebody in the other room is having their dog put down, and I'm like, would you stop saying the shit that you're saying? I'm like, come on, you're embarrassing me, right? He's so good. She was like, what's it going to be like in front of 80,000 fans? He's like, it means Daddy's going to have a little chub. Just fucking. And then what he said about the British Bulldog, he's like, if he had charisma and was a good public speaker or something, just insane. He's the best. Adam Cole getting upset. We have Roderick Strong giving a thing later. Man, I'm leaning away right now, and we'll get to it. But yeah, this storyline has only delivered. I can't recall a moment in this where I'm like, yeah, that was a bit lame. This has been great from start to finish.
100% agree. Yeah, from the moment they said, shut up, Shivani, to last night, it has been an A+ in all regards. My takeaway from the promos was it's interesting to see the promos, and I'll even factor in this post-match segment here, is, to me, it seems as if MJF is a bad guy trying to go good. So he has the tendencies, because he's been bad for so long, to shoulder check you, to, if you're looking at my title, that means I got to kill you kind of thing.
Don't look at my girl.
But he's learning through his friendship with Adam Cole that he doesn't have to be that way. Right. So it's this almost like a relapse that he goes into when he has these moments of grabbing the Dynamite diamond ring and putting it on, or at Collision grabbing the title belt and he was going to hit relapse. Adam Cole, right?
It's a great term for it.
Yeah. Where Adam Cole, it feels as if there's a flirtation with the dark side where it's, man, that did feel kind of good. And I don't like that you fucking saw it. All right. Like, when you catch someone in the act of, maybe you have kids when they were children grabbing a cookie, they wanted the fucking cookie.
Do it now.
But they're mad at you that you caught them, right? They're not mad that they took the cookie. They're just mad that you saw it, right?
Right.
And that's the feeling I get from Adam Cole, where it feels more as if, hey, would everyone shut the fuck up? And it's like, well, no one said anything,
And to fast forward to, what was Roddy Strong's phrase about MJF? He was like MJF. He was like, by the end of All Out, MJF will have shown you what type of person he really is. That's
and
a key
Adam Cole.
phrase that. Oh, he said and Adam Cole. Okay.
Yeah. So let's hold off on our main event pick. Let's get to the 0
What do
hour
you think?
match.
I'm giving you this first one. Who's winning this tag team match?
It's Aussie Open. As I mentioned, looking at it from a critical standpoint, not a storyline standpoint, just optics. I never, unless it's a one-off special thing that we never see again, I never will think I'm going to see consistently MJF wrestle on Ring of Honor television. Right. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. And so
now let's clarify then. Do you think Aussie Open gets your winners of the match, Aussie Open, like pinfall, or is this, because I kind of think we have a possibility of Better Than You, Bebe winning the match, but it's via disqualification or something along those lines.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because that's, I think, going to be my pick. I think they win this match via disqualification.
Aussie Open says, fuck it, hits him with the title, something like that.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to stay true. I think Aussie Open does get the victory, and that's where the cracks start to show, where it's, how the fuck did you let skinny Hanson Aussie Open pin you, right? Like that is going to be the look that they have.
Yeah, it all depends on what story they're telling, right? It's either one of those two. And I think there's trouble amiss. So what I think is going to happen is I think they're going to win via disqualification because Roddy Strong is going to fuck something up, and both guys are going to act like they didn't ask him to be there. And now we get what the fuck's your boy doing? Ain't my fucking boy. I didn't tell him to fucking, he fucking, he threw me to the side. He was here for you, right? Like that kind of thing.
Ooh, okay. I still think it's something happens and one of them takes the
But it's that, or it's, they run into each other. They accidentally, instead of catching the boot this time, he hits me. That's probably what it is. It's probably the same setup. He goes for the super kick. He doesn't catch it this time. He hits him, and now he's looking at him, right? Like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, a schoolboy 1, 2, 3. There you go. Yeah, something like that. All right, so there's our first picks. So we both think that Aussie Open will retain their tag team championship match.
But I think the identified winners of the match will be MJF and Adam Cole.
Yeah, and I got the identified winners. Fuck, I don't feel comfortable saying
I don't either. I don't either now. But, you know what I mean? Again, it's which way they're going to tell the story. I think it's one of those two things that happens.
So here's the thing, though. This is where you run into an issue if one of them gets pinned. You either have both of them get pinned in the same night, right? One loses in the first match and then the other one loses in the main event, or you have one of them gets pinned twice, and that's not good. So now I've talked myself out of it. It's going to be a schmoz finish. MJF and Adam Cole win. Schmoz finish.
So you're saying the same thing.
Ooh, wait a minute. But what if it's a schmoz finish and MJF and Adam Cole get disqualified? Mm-hmm. What if MJF falls into the trap of, I'm going to use this diamond ring, hits him, ref catches him, that's the match. Adam Cole now is like, you motherfucker, you cost me the one championship I didn't get. Oh, I like that one better.
So you're saying winners of the match are still Aussie Open, even though it's a schmoz finish at the DQ? All right.
Yeah.
So your final answer is Aussie Open wins.
It's Aussie Open. Ozzy Owen wins the match. God
This
damn
is
it.
why pro wrestling is fun, is because you can win the match and not win this story, right?
Yeah. That would make the most sense. MJF grabs the diamond ring, or Adam Cole grabs MJF's diamond ring. The diamond ring is used. The ref sees it. Adam Cole then goes, how the fuck did you cost me the one championships I wanted to win in Ring of Honor? And then we move on. All right, let's actually move on then. So we don't have a story from last night's Dynamite because it was advertised, but then got pushed to Collision or Rampage, one of them. But it has been announced here on Wikipedia. It is for the FTW Championship. Jack Perry.
Yeah, I saw that.
1-on-1 versus Hook. Who you got?
Yeah, what happened with the retiring of the...
I think it got pushed. I think it got pushed to Collision because one thing, and I did not catch this because I have a smooth brain, but if you paid attention, the commentary team was next to the ring, and that's because after Dynamite, they filmed Collision, so they didn't have enough time in the 2 hours to do Jack Perry there, so they just pushed him to Collision because he was already there.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, this match, I'm going to say Hook wins the FTW title. No? Hook wins. Yeah.
Hook wins, and I think we're gonna get some version of Sandman, Sabu, Rob Van Dam, Jerry
Right.
Lynn.
We're in England. We're gonna get a bunch of things, right?
Yeah.
Moments.
I wouldn't be shocked. Don't be shocked, because another person in Hook's past that has helped him out, that is a very famous person, is Action Bronson. Don't be shocked if Action Bronson shows up in fucking London, England, and body slams Jack Perry or something.
True.
So
Yeah.
All right, so we both got Hook then.
Yeah, Hook.
All right.
It's Hook. Of course it's Hook. Nobody beats Hook.
It's Hook. Nobody beats Hook unless it's Jack Perry. All right, so now we're getting to the pay-per-view portion, and I'm just going from what's listed here. We have next up for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, champions FTR taking on challengers the Young Bucks. And before we get to our picks, let's talk about last night's promo battle, I guess you could call it, where it was a sit down with Renee Paquette, and it was FTR on her left and the Young Bucks on her right, and they decided to have words for each other. What'd you think of the promo battle between these two?
I felt like these guys did an immense job of capturing everything this feud has ever been. FTR is taking their shit way too seriously. Young Bucks are being too flippant about the situation at hand, and they're getting on each other's nerves. And it worked. It worked very well here. It looked like FTR legitimately wanted to slap the shit out of the Young Bucks last night. And maybe they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, watch out. Cash will pull a gun on you, apparently.
Yeah. No flips, just clips, baby.
Yeah. Don't catch that motherfucker in traffic. And it was a report again from the confirmed news. It was like a semi-automatic. What the fuck are you flashing a gun for? And
again, by the way, you know, we try to shade away from getting too political sometimes, but all you gun guys, was that for protection? Is that what he was using that for? His protection? Right? That's what that was? Right?
Fucking weirdos. Anyhow, look, I don't know if to me personally, I haven't seen a personal fall from grace happen this fast to someone I liked so much. 5 months ago, start of the year, I fucking loved FTR.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't tell me nothing.
Yeah, they were the greatest thing. Yeah.
5-star
FTR.
Yeah, and they were kind of leaning into that Dave Meltzer can suck it kind of thing. And we are actually tag team wrestling. Like, that's what we care about. And, you know, then they leave and try to do this weird thing, which is fine because they're trying to work us, and credit to you for trying to stay relevant. I don't mind that. But then they come back, they win the world championships. They do have an incredible 1 hour match with Gangbang Group, and that was awesome. But man, they do one promo where they're like, MJF and Adam Cole are kind of dumb, and they look like some jealous bitches. And then since then, just catching L's.
Dude, yeah, it's all like whiny, but like, but what about me? Right? And it's like, Jesus Christ, nobody gives a shit about you now. Like, dude, shut up. Like, the thing is, like, it's one of those where I hope I'm getting worked like crazy here, and he's not that guy. Like, remember when everybody said, like, Raven ain't this dude, right? Raven ain't the sulking in the corner, right? Yeah. Like, weird, grunged out dude. I hope maybe, Dax Harwood's like, not like this at all, and I'm getting worked because, dude, it comes across as completely real about this, like, that you take your shit way too seriously. You think that, like, in the annals of history, when 30 years from now, when two young studs such as ourselves are doing a version of their show like this on whatever platforms exist, maybe it's still us, that we're going to be ranking like the toughest, realist SOBs, and we're going to somehow be circling Dax Harwood to fit into the top 5 somewhere. I don't think you're ever reaching that, pal, and like, let's just calm it down, right? Like, you're a performer. And you do a great, amazing job at it. You're one of the best in the world at what you do, right? You can take pride in that, of course. Like, I'm not trying to shoot him down, but like, it sounds like you need me to keep convincing you of that and not the other way around.
It also feels like he's mad that we know the trick, right? Because look, back in the day, and this is not me trying to belittle anyone, but I just don't fucking believe it, and no old timer is going to change my mind. But fucking Haku wasn't that goddamn tough, okay? He wasn't fucking. He was intimidating people that couldn't fucking fight, right? Like, or he was beating up drunk.
Comparative to average doughboy he ran up to, yes. Like, he was a fit Samoan dude, yes, of course, right? Like, if you pluck average fit Samoan dude against average beer-bellied Midwestern dude, he's probably going to beat the shit out of him.
Right, but this idea that the toughest man to ever walk in the hallways of pro wrestling was Haku, get the fuck on, right? And so I think old Dax is wishing he was back then, because by just visuals, he does look tough, right? Go prove it then, right? Because your buddy is so tough that when he gets upset, he grabs a gun first, right? So I think you guys are kind of pussies.
Well, and your other buddy thought he was super tough as well and went and tried to prove it. It didn't work out so well for him. So let's see you strap up some gloves on and get in the cage and do the same thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You have enough avenues that if you really want to be a tough fucking guy, you could show us, and you don't have to do this shit where it's kind of phony. So yeah, again, going back to my original point though, I haven't seen a fall from grace like this where you tell me at the beginning of the year. But now I don't fucking like him at all.
I know. I was telling everybody, like, these guys are amazing. Like, FTR's got it figured out, man. They're doing tag team wrestling right. And now it's just like, dude, guys, are you okay? Is somebody like, does your wife insult you at home every day or something? Like, what's going on here?
It feels very much like when I was in the dating scene and I was talking to a girl and I was like, you know what? I could actually really date this girl. And then the lights turned on and I was like, the fuck am I doing? And then you got to run off and go the other way. Oh, I'm sick. I have diarrhea. And just hope they don't follow you. You know what I mean? Like, that's how FTR feels to me.
I feel like that's a line you've used many times. Like, listen, I got diarrhea. I got to.
Oh, yeah.
Don't come in here.
Well, if I just don't want a girl to like ask follow-ups, you just say diarrhea. It's the quickest way to like end the whole thing, right? You're like, I'm bored with this. Diarrhea,
listen, Listen, I'm burning a second hole through my anus here. I need to
I got to get out of here. All right. So, with all that being said,
but I think FTR wins. I think FTR wins. I think the Young Bucks are going to give the old. Now, recent controversy may lend itself to saying, hey, guys, you know, we got to take the titles off you now till the heat dies down or whatever. But I feel like he's not really taking a whole lot of heat for this, maybe. So I feel like Young Bucks are going to take the, like, EVP role, It's the biggest event. FTR's legacy. FTR. I think FTR wins.
So here's my thought.
And
process.
CM Punk might throw a fit if they don't.
Well, so here's my thought process on this. Before current controversy with Cash Wheeler, the last controversy was with the Young Bucks. And so I thought maybe, hey, you kind of caused a lot of shit this time last year. So fucking you're going to lay down this time, right? Like this is the real punishment.
Right.
In the biggest fucking show, now you're going to have to lose to this team that honestly doesn't like you, right?
Yeah. And they're that guy's friend, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That tied together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, though, and I don't think, again, we always say like going on talk shows. That's not necessarily really a thing for AEW specifically. However, there is a certain like newswire type aspect to pro wrestling. I don't know if they want to draw more attention to FTR retains the championships in the greatest tag match of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm torn. My gut says FTR, because this was maybe, and this is peeking behind the curtain, this was maybe part of the negotiations of, hey, re-sign with us and we'll let you beat the Young Bucks. Okay. Right.
Yeah. I think FTR wins it just because I think it is that. I think FTR is going to be, cementing their legacy here and everybody's on board with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the Young Bucks said, like, we don't need to cement this. This is more for you than us. Like, we're the fucking shit. You are coming up to our level.
Almost in a way, they're honestly in real life doing that. It almost like if they had a real life beef, this is the thing that would piss FTR off. Like, no, we're losing, right? Like, no. We're losing. Yeah. You're winning. No. Right? Like, we did the right thing for you. No. We did the right thing as EVPs for you, right? Like, I bet like if they have a real life beef, the one is like who's actually going to lose. They both want to lose. Yeah. Isn't that fun?
So here's a yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Here's something to consider though. Something to chew on for a little bit before we actually make our first pick, our picks, and then we'll move on. All Out is the next week.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got too much shit going on yet. Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs, I think. Yeah.
Luchasaurus.
Do we see a schmoz finish here to then do a 2 out of 3 in All Out? Because the Young Bucks would love. You remember the last time they were in Chicago? They were eating that up, doing all the CM Punk bullshit stuff. Having them face
That's a good point.
CM Punk tag
Something
team.
From this event is not going to end, right?
Right.
Something from this event is going to bleed over to, because it's 1 week. They don't have time. Like
Right.
They've got Dynamite and that's it. So
Yeah.
at least one thing is going to bleed over. Could it be this and then if you do like you said, 2 out of 3 falls, you can stretch that match for a long time at All Out. You don't have to have as many matches. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But absent of that, I'm going to call FTR wins.
I'll go with you. I agree. I think FTR recently, again, this is all based on pure speculation and peeking behind the curtain, not storyline at all. But I think they re-signed. Well, I mean, the Young Bucks actually re-signed more recently. Fuck, I didn't consider that. Shit. There goes all my thought process. I'm still going FTR.
Okay. All
right. Here we go. Next up, and it is definitely not going to be in this spot because it's not before the main event, but we have a 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. It is champion Hikaru Shida taking on challengers Toni Storm, Saraya, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And we can talk a little bit about how essentially there was a pull apart of these 4 women on Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all 4 corners, and the champion was holding her title. I think there's interesting story to tell when Toni Storm and Saraya are the 2 left in the ring, and what do we do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, a little bit of the Sheeta Britt Baker, right? Because they've been recent friends, but obviously bitter rivals in the past. So I think there's a fun story in the match, but leading to the match, it's kind of soft.
Yeah. So many thought processes, right? We're in England, right? So do we have one of the, British folks win it, right? Does Toni Storm win it? Is she going to be a 3-time champ when she just had it and just lost it? Probably not. Is Saraya going to win it? That would be a moment, but she's not likely to be defending it left and right in this thing. You know what I mean? I don't think she can wrestle now, but she's not the every week wrestler, right? So I don't think that's going. So now it's Sheeta or Britt Baker. Right? Now I've got a question, right? Like, and I feel like we're going to get, I'm going to go Britt Baker. I think we're going to get own the title, the DMD with 80,000 plus for her. This would be her second AEW World Title reign.
Yep.
Britt Baker's.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're gonna get Britt Baker.
I think they're going chalk here. I think they're going Saraya. I think they won. And in London, England, my hometown. And we might see the end of the Outcast. This might be,
she rolls
Hogan
up
at WrestleMania 18.
Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or just that was so great. And the other two were like, the fuck you mean great? Like, we're supposed to be the best. Why are you getting emotional? And then they beat her up because they see her as weak. And then blah, 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 blah. All right. So I'm going Saraya. I think it just, for
no
as
chance
much as
Sheeta retains, huh?
No, man. Look, if you look at the picture, they just throw her to the side. They're just like, hey, she's taking the pin, I bet. I'm not going to bet an extra point.
No, I think
she's going to take the pin.
Unless it's Saraya or Toni Storm winning, because I think it would be over the other one. Yeah.
That could definitely happen. Yeah. The way I'm seeing it, this is how I'm seeing it. And one thing I was going to say is, for as much as WWE is losing your hometown, Tony Khan's more like, hey, it's your hometown. Let's get that pop, right? Here's Sean Spears. You haven't seen his ass. He won a match. Get him back out. He has a baby, right? The way I see this going is Toni Storm hits sweet cheek music on Sheeta, goes to pin her. Saraya then goes, see ya, and then gets the pin on Sheeta. 1, 2, 3. Toni Storm looks back and is like, bitch, what did you do? And Saraya's like, it's London. Boop, I'm champion.
Title,
that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you might be right. You might have scooped me.
Maybe. All right, let's keep it moving here. Yep. Let's keep it moving here. Coffin match. This is actually a little bit more interesting now that we've had a shakeup, especially considering All Out is Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin. But we have Darby Allin and Sting versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage with Prince Nana and Luchasaurus. Dude, Prince Nana is getting to be not to the levels because he ain't cutting promos like it, but getting to the levels of Stokely Hathaway with the and I swerve when I drive, and I swerve when I drive. I fucking love that guy. He's growing on me.
Luchasaurus wins this by putting Darby Allin in the coffin.
Well, Luchasaurus isn't in the match, but you think he inserts himself.
Oh, he's hanging side by Christian Cage. So yes, Darby Allin gets put in the coffin. Luchasaurus does the beating up. Christian maybe closes it or whatever, right? Because we're leading into that, right? Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin at All Out. That'll be their talking point on Dynamite. Darby Allin comes out to fight him, and then we lead into All Out.
So you've got Sting losing his first AEW match.
No, he's wrestled AEW matches. What are you talking about?
He's never lost.
Oh, losing his first. I get you. Like, not losing in his first match. His first loss in AEW.
His first loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In front of 80,000.
Yes.
Sting.
Yeah. Yes.
Coffin match.
Yes. Because Darby's going in the coffin.
I mean,
I'm going to be wearing a shirt, aren't I?
I've got Darby and Sting.
Okay.
And here's why. We've already seen Christian be buried, and I think it's going to happen again. Let's not forget, Jack Perry put that motherfucker in a coffin, hit that button, and he 6 stories. I think it's going to be Christian. I think it's Christian and Luchasaurus. I wouldn't be shocked if they're both in that fucking thing. Darby hits it, Yay. And then the next week or All Out, Luchasaurus is like, I'm going to fucking murder him. Christian, you didn't get the job done, but I will. And then it's fucking Pain Town.
You're wrong.
Yeah, possibly. I just don't. Here's the thing. I just don't think again, this is complete thinking outside of storyline. I don't think Tony Khan has the guts to tell Sting that, hey, remember the last largest crowd you wrestled in front of? It was WrestleMania and you lost to Triple H. We're going to have you do it again. I just don't think he has the guts to tell him.
No, but again, I think it may all be part of the plan. I think it's all part of the story and the plan. I think we're getting to Luchasaurus Darby at All Out. So, like you said, something's got to bleed over. This is an easy one where nobody's going to be up in arms at this outcome.
Yeah, I'm not betting any extra points as we used to do.
Yeah.
Don't be shocked if, again, it's Christian and Luchasaurus in that coffin. Shut it. And then we see a new colored Luchasaurus because he's been in red and then he goes black or blue or something. You know what I mean? Like, then it's a new Luchasaurus and he doesn't want to associate with Christian Cage anymore.
Here's what's going to happen. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus are doing their heel stuff, right? Nut grabs, bunch of whatever. They've got Sting in the coffin, ready to close, give him the thing, and then you get the, you think you know me, whatever, and now here comes out old friend from back in the day to stop his old friend from doing the dastardly deed to the legend Sting.
And then at All Out, you could do Darby with Edge and Luchasaurus with Christian Cage.
So there you go. Yeah, because they took Sting out. He's injured. He can't. Yeah. Right. So he's the fill-in.
Oh, motherfucker. This is cool. Look at this. And then it's right? So it's Darby versus Luchasaurus at All Out. Keep that match. But you throw in Edge in the corner of Darby because Sting is hurt. You then have that next week. Sting loses. Storyline. It's not going to happen, but this would be fun. Storyline. Sting. Fine. They do. They fucking throw it in there, but they're going to light it on fire, something like that. That's when Edge comes out, stops that shit, right? Next week on All Out, that's what we get. Then Darby's about to win the TNT Championship, and a weird face, kind of wacky Sting, because he's Joker Sting now, cost Darby the match. And like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then that's how we're getting Joker Sting versus Darby Allin. What do you mean I'm a bad guy? I'm Sting. You love me.
Yeah. I am a little worried that none of this happens because Justin Floor here says, I would have loved to see Edge appear at All Out, but he's a free agent in September. Edge went on social media today to try to say, hey, all these rumors are BS, guys. Like I didn't ask them to give me a contract that's too high or anything like that. He's like, I have a contract offer extension. My contract's up in September. I figure out what I'm going to do. Guys, all of that could be a work from Edge as well.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Edge telling the truth, which I'm not saying he's a liar, but he's also been a pro wrestler for 30 plus years. Isn't necessarily the thing I'm going to bank on. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like the idea at All Out, Sting costing Darby, and it's Joker Sting. That's what because I really love. Now he's out of his mind
because they did do something. They pushed the coffin off the side, you know, even though Edge came out to try to win, and now Sting's just off now, right?
Yep.
Got knocked loose.
Oh, I love that idea. But
you're saying Darby and Sting win the match. Okay. Yeah. I'm saying Christian Cage and why am I blanking here?
Swerve Strickland.
Swerve, right.
Swerve. Because I think all this fun shit that we're talking about will happen after Sting and Darby win. Now that I'm thinking it more through. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get into some more fun here. We got a 6-man tag match next, as listed on Wikipedia. The Golden Elite, Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page versus Takeshita and the Gangbang Club Gold, Juice Robinson and Jay White. Now let's talk about Dynamite last night. They tried to have a match with the Guns and Juice Robinson, who missed their spot and were in the dark spitting water at each other, taking on the Elite, but we didn't get a match. It was just chaos. Yeah. Now, here's my question. In this segment, FTR came to make the save, which again, they came to save the Young Bucks, but it's because we want you at 100%. Why? I've never understood that logic. If I'm fighting anyone, I want you to have a fucking broken back. I don't give a shit.
Remember, this is to prove their legacy, that we beat the best team at the best time with their full health.
If this is getting money, win checks, I don't give a fuck. That's why, when I don't wish injury on anyone.
Well, you're just not a purist, Tom. Like that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Well, but even in real sports, I don't wish injury on anyone. But when someone's like, "Oh, you'd be okay if the Chiefs beat the Bengals and Joe Burrow was not playing,"
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I'm excited all
for
the
that.
time.
Yeah.
Makes me way less anxious.
Yeah. I think that sucks for Joe Burrow and that sucks for Bengals fans. But I'm excited for the game. If you said, "Hey, he's out," I'm like, yes. Not yes that he's injured. That sucks for him. But yes, I'm excited for the potential of an easier victory. Yes.
Exactly. And so in the pro wrestling world, when they're like, I want the person or team at 100%, I don't. Beat them up more. Yeah. That's why I'm a heel. Yeah. I told someone that I was like, I'm just a heel.
Which is a babyface thing to say, but they also haven't painted FTR as the baby faces in that storyline really either. They haven't really painted either of them as a babyface per se, but
right.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say with this whole pull apart is FTR comes to save the Elite. Where the fuck is my cowboy? Why didn't Hangman come out to help?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was he?
Well, is he?
What the?
Is he off drinking? Is he at the bar?
Oh no! No! Don't break my heart. You think he comes out drunk? Does he come out walking out drunk?
I don't think he necessarily maybe comes out drunk, but maybe before the match starts, the Don Callis is out there being like, "Why didn't he come save you guys? Oh, we'll show you why, because we got footage. He was busy drinking at the bar. He wasn't hanging out with you guys as friend." And then they're like, "Bitch." And it's right before the match. And he's like, because I think this Don Callis crew wins this match. I think this comes before the Jericho Ospreay. So we got to have them looking strong. I think the Don Callis crew, gang, bang, gang, win this one.
No, it's Golden Elite.
I like this. I like that we're thinking different, though, because it would suck if we only had one match.
Yeah.
What I mean? That we were hinging on.
And here's why I'm doing this. I don't think the EVPs are all going to lose. So if I got FTR beating the Young Bucks, I don't then think Kenny Omega is also fucking losing with Hangman, which I know Hangman's not an EVP, but he fucking might as well be, right?
Yeah.
And it's Takeshita and the Gangbang Club. So the Gangbang Club could be like, fuck this family. We didn't lose. It was Takeshita who lost. We're out of here.
Oh, yeah. No, there's many ways you can go with this. And that's why I like either way. I don't think anybody's hurt too bad by losing this or doing too well by winning this, So either way it could go. But I think we're going to have Don Callis looking menacing somehow at the end of this.
Be fucking cool just to screw with all these neckbeard black t-shirt douchebags if after the Golden Elite win, Ibushi and Omega just kiss. It's been rumored. Well, it's been rumored that they've dated in the past, which whatever. Okay. And so if they're like, yeah, we fucking are the golden lovers. Guess how we're celebrating tonight? Making golden love.
Golden love. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Hey, whatever your thing. You know what I mean?
2023, right?
As long as you're not peeing on me, I don't care who you pee on. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Consenting adults in a camcorder, I don't give a shit what you're doing.
Consenting. That's the other thing. Yeah. Don't pee on anyone who doesn't want to get peed on.
By the way, a fun tip for you fellas if you're ever out. Fun tip. Fun tip for you fellas. Line up.
How did
is when you're shopping with your wife, and let's say you're shopping for a new mattress or a bed, Make sure to measure each of them in the amount of consenting adults that you could fit on that bed. Be like, look at this one. What about this one? We could fit like 6 consenting adults on this one. Like, measure them all in the amount of consenting adults you can fit on it. Goes over greatly. They love it.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Even a couch, right? God damn, you can fit 12 consenting adults on this couch.
Yeah. So the deal breaker for me is like this one has 5, but that one has 7 consenting adults that can fit.
Yeah.
So come on.
Everybody wants 7 more than 5. You know, I mean, think of the possibilities.
That's great. All right, let's keep it moving. And what I think will be the show stealer, the most insane thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. And I can't wait to buy all the posters and t-shirts and just love everything that happens. It is the Stadium Stampede match. Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, the Best Friends, and Penta El Zero Nieto versus the Blackpool Combat Club and Santana and Ortiz, which storyline. Let's talk about the storyline and then we can maybe flirt with what we may have saw online. Because I believe it was in the media call that Tony Khan said Ray Phoenix can't make it because of a visa issue. Which, did you hear why? Side note, did you hear why? I fucking hate citizenship stuff. I legitimately do. I understand taxes, right? Like a country needs to have tax. That's how they're, making their stuff. But citizenship's fucking stupid as shit. Ray Phoenix, to establish a U.S. citizenship, which he's trying to do, can't leave the country. He leaves the country, starts all over again, apparently. So he can't go to London because he needs to establish a residency in the United States.
Even though it's for a work trip that like his employer could say it's going to be this date to this date.
How fucking dumb is that?
So again,
maybe
trying to
I'm
establish
wrong.
citizenship, but the citizens don't have to stay in the country at risk of losing their citizenship status.
Trust me. All of these hardworking individuals who try to become U.S. citizens that have to take that test, I have failed it like 3 times, but I'm a citizen. I just fucking can't.
I don't know shit about fucking George Adams and John Washington.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I like what you did there. Did you call him Josh Adams?
Yeah, no, I said
I like
John. Or I said George Adams and John Washington. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
Thomas Franklin and
storyline.
The
storyline last night in an incredible match, Jon Moxley took on Ray Phoenix in a match that was way too crazy for a match that's that close to a pay-per-view. I mean, there was
for another crazy match that they're gonna do.
Yeah. There was an avalanche off the top rope. There was kicks to the face with no protection of like a hand or anything.
That's what Moxley calls a warm-up.
I know. It's incredible. The rate he's going.
Like he needs, there's some, but it sounds like somebody should make sure he's talking to some therapists, some stuff to unpack.
Because the week before, if my memory is correct, the week before was Penta. And the week before that was the parking lot tag team match that he did with Best Friends going through car windows and shit.
Yeah.
Insane. So Jon Moxley gets the win, but then after they're like, we're going to really fuck up Ray Phoenix. Blackpool Combat Club comes out. And before they could really fuck him up, Eddie Kingston and Penta walk out and they're walking down and Eddie's already shit talking Claudio. But here's Ortiz. And side note, going back, I'll get back on track here, but side note, the camera missed all of this. They missed every fucking shot. I think this match is going to steal the show if you're there. I think Ash might think this is going to be the match of the year. I don't think I'm going to see shit because these fucking losers on camera and production. Anyhow, they missed every fucking shot. But Ortiz is standing there at the bottom of the ramp with like baseballs in a sock, I guess. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah. Shit. Again, don't play with that. You start getting hit with something. Drop anything in a sock, start swinging it on folks.
Yeah, if you're going to be a gangster, Yeah. Again, I get their kind of go gangster thing.
It's a bit of
Don't
a prison
do this.
weapon is kind of what
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, because what I was gonna say is like if you're gonna be gangster, get a gun, but don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the idea is usually it's soap in the sock, and then you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Drop a hard object that otherwise seems innocuous and is not a weapon into a sock. Now all of a sudden you've got a mace essentially. If I can,
Okay. Interesting. Yep. All right, Kurt. All right, Tim. Jeez, you're getting accurate here.
All
right, but he's standing
there.
Let me
tell you some more.
So he's standing there, and Eddie Kingston has this look of like, what the fuck is what?
What are you doing, bro? They're there.
Yeah.
Turn around those guys.
Yeah. And then music hits, and it's Santana. And he comes out as if he came out of a prison that he's been stuck in the last year and a half.
Yeah, this was Santana and a half. This guy has fucking bulked. This dude took all the creatine.
Well, that, and he was also like spitting venom. There was no like, yeah, look me taking the moment. It was, I'm going to hurt someone.
Which is
Let me
interesting.
Hurt someone.
What sucks about getting this revelation, which we, worst kept secret, right, was it was going to be Santana and Ortiz, is we're not getting the story of why, right? Because, did they end the last time we saw them on bad terms with Eddie Kingston? I'm forgetting because I know they had they were just suddenly gone given their own personal issues behind the curtain. But
no.
So when do we get the why they're now not helping Eddie and they're just there? Because it wasn't like you said hired guns, because Santana was pissed, right? Like he had a mission.
So Santana, the last time we saw him was the blood and guts match where he ripped his ACL. I believe it was ACL. Ripped something in his leg.
Yeah.
Ortiz, though, I think that's when, was it Eddie Kingston hit Ortiz? Remember when they had like
Ruby,
that falling
right?
out?
They had, yeah.
Yeah, and Ruby was like, what the hell are you doing? And then that's when he's like, I quit, and he went to Ring of Honor.
Maybe that's it.
So I think maybe that's it. But again, wasn't told that great. So while Santana is pacing back and forth like a raging bull, we miss it, but we get it on replay. Wheeler Yuta takes a crowbar to Ray Phoenix's face and mollywops him, and he falls to the ground. And then Penta and Santana are fighting on the ramp, and Eddie Kingston's like, the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And then everyone leaves, right? Everyone disperses, and Eddie Kingston is sad that Ray Phoenix is hurt, but also dumbfounded of like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, no, it was Eddie was like, man, we had to jump on these fools, and then these two fucks.
Yeah.
Now I got to kill these fucks, and I love those guys.
Right. So here's the fun part, though. Not fun part, but here's the coolest part of this whole segment is we follow Ray Phoenix to the ambulance as Eddie Kingston and Penta follow him as well. And then as the ambulance leaves, Eddie Kingston turns and Renee Paquette is there for an interview. And Eddie Kingston, oh, you want to talk to me? And then he makes mention, oh, you want me to fix this? You want me to fix this? And she's just like, I'm trying to do my job. And he's like, nah, not you, homie. Like, you shouldn't have been the one to ask me this question.
Yeah.
Awesome attention to detail there. That's what I love.
Yeah, because that was, he was like, what, are you fucking for you? And he's like, what, you saw what happened here? Like, you ain't got to ask me shit. Your husband did this shit, right? Like, yeah. Oh, that was really well done. Again, Eddie Kingston makes you forget that this ain't real.
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, and I'm not trying to shame any other pro wrestler, but majority of the time, that segment goes, Eddie Kingston turns, Renee Paquette asks, how are you feeling or what happened? And Eddie Kingston gives poor dog eyes. Man, I'm really
doing this
sad.
one for Ray. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, well,
when it was just me and you, that's fine. But now you brought Ray. Now,
Yeah. And it's fucking a tired trope. But Eddie, again, does it way better than anyone else. So that's
but I loved it too, because that little nugget was like, he's like, oh, what? Fix this, right? That's what you said, right? Fix this. I'm going to fix it. Because we still never did get the answer as to, she was out of character in that moment. She was like, hey, you fucking fix this. Like, she was in charge of something all of a sudden when she's been this like innocent, I'm not involved bystander. And now he's kind of like, don't go back to that now. right? Like, fix it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fixing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with that all said, Stadium Stampede match, who do you got?
I'm so interested in this because I was so geeked out today. My boss, we have weekly one-on-one meetings, right? And he chimes in on this show sometimes. He's an old wrestling fan. And he's like, any big plans this weekend? And I was like, oh, motherfucker, right? Like, and we're running down All In. And I'm geeked out. And I was like, have we talked about the Stadium Stampede? Which I know I probably mentioned it to him, right? And he's like, I don't recall it. And I was like, oh my God, right? I had to find him a link, send it. I'm like, you have to watch this at some point. The most entertaining pro wrestling match I think I've ever seen. And so I'm watching it again, right? But how are they going to do this? So we've seen Anarchy in the Arena, right? A little bit different. But are they pre-recording some of this? They have to pre-record some of it, I guess. But like, are we going to get the empty arena Stadium Stampede thing? Or are we going to get some pre-recordings that bleed out into now they're fighting out amongst the live crowd that's there in 80,000 plus? Maybe some kind of blended thing like that, probably, huh? We're going to get less comedy spots, but there'll be a few, I think.
Yeah, so if you recall the second Stadium Stampede, when it was the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle, it was starts in Jacksonville,
right?
Urban Meyer's doing his bullshit, all that stuff, and then they get to the arena and
That's
then
right.
the ring.
I forgot Urban Meyer was in the second one, not the right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fucking that guy. Which, side note, have you watched the Swamp Kings thing?
I haven't. No. Yeah.
Don't. It's nothing. It's all Urban Meyer could really deserve a second chance. Fuck you. You loser.
Yeah, he's a douche.
Not obviously, douche. But yeah, they don't cover anything about like Aaron Hernandez killing people, any of that shit. Anyhow, back to this. I think it will be. I think it'll start out pre-recorded. But I don't think it's going to be as long as the second Stadium Stampede match, where that was majority pre-tape and then the last 5 minutes in the arena. I think it might be. I pull up in a car, Moxley pulls up in a car, we get out, we're fighting, and then that bleeds into we're running down the ramp, and here we are, isn't this cool? And now we're doing Anarchy in the Arena. I think it's more that than
so
I don't know, bro. Could you hold on? Could you just imagine if it's not? Could you imagine if it was like, no, we're gonna do everything in the crowd? Like Eddie Kingston, if he gets pushed while he's Moxley, if he gets pushed while he's in this state of mind.
My thought is like, might they be running around the concourse areas and things like that, and inside the office areas and stuff like that during the live event? But probably not. That stuff's probably all pre-recorded, right?
I don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. If it's not, God bless Ash. Hopefully you're not next to Eddie Kingston, John Moxley, Claudio, Penta, Santana, or Ortiz, because they might actually fight you as well. Yeah. Wheeler, he might try to be proving something.
So who's winning this, man?
Dun, 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 bum, bum, bum. I'm going Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool Combat Club is the right answer. Yeah, I don't think we're getting this Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club finally lose one of these to this group of put together guys. I just don't think it. And it's been consistent. Eddie Kingston doesn't win the big match. You know what I mean?
Unless it's against Jericho. But the other reason that I'm going Blackpool Combat Club is because they just lost Blood and Guts. I don't think you can do the three of them. The last time they picked Pac and that burned them, right? Pac and Takeshita and that burned them. I don't think you can do, and then Santana and Ortiz and burn them again. Like that's kind of, then they look stupid.
Yeah. It's BCC.
So I got Blackpool Combat Club for that reason. Also, not wagering a point. Again, not wagering a point. Don't be shocked if it's maybe Bryan Danielson who low blows Eddie Kingston. That's all I'm saying, because there's another person Eddie Kingston fucking hates, and it's Bryan Danielson. And add some fuel to that fire, you low blow, because Bryan Danielson wants that pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wants to be at this event. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true.
He doesn't give
Good
a shit
point.
about his arm.
He's going to come out of somewhere, do the Kansas City comp punt.
To Kingston. It wouldn't make sense if he did it to
Yep.
Orange Cassidy or anything like that. Because this is my guess.
The Kingston
Out of
Kansas
this
City
match,
comp punt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of this match, at All Out, I believe we're going to do Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. Because this is where Moxley says, hey, I won that. I can take your title too. And then we're going to do one more match out of this. And then maybe Santana and Ortiz versus the Best Friends. That could easily happen
good.
as well. Maybe in a kickoff. So, yeah, Blackpool Combat Club. All right. In a singles match that I still don't care about. Look, you tried and it bruv enough. And I just don't like him. I just don't. Remember the reaction I had when he debuted in AEW? We were there. It was in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I jumped up and I booed him because he is overrated.
Yeah.
Look, for everything. Oh, man, I'm being too mean. No one's Terry Funk, right? But like the opposite is Will Ospreay, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I think they did a fine job of this little like contract signing thing, right? Like it was fine. Jericho didn't shit the bed here. He didn't say something stupid. Will Ospreay didn't say anything stupid. He said everything believable, realistic, right? But it's just out of nowhere again, right? It's like it's like it felt like you guys are like, oh, we really want to get this match. We could do it at Wembley now, right, guys? Because you're doing the Wembley show. Okay, yeah, right. Like that's what it feels like, right? It feels like they were like, Tony, can we please do this match? That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, if you're peeking behind the curtain. Storyline wise, this is what I don't like. One, Chris Jericho saying, hey, I was the one that looked out for you and changed your in-ring style. We were supposed to do this, so let's do it now. What? That's still not a rivalry. Second, Ospreay. Look, man, and this is where too many people drink this Meltzer Kool-Aid. I am not a fan. You can do it sporadically and I'll buy it. But if you do it all the time, then I get tired of it. But I call it the Kevin Owens promo where you just yell a lot like this. And this is why I'm just so into it. And all he did was in his tone of voice and saying bruv a lot, just yell. He just goes, I want to beat you. And I don't, so you want to beat him. Fucking neat.
Yeah.
Fucking
Again,
neat.
It's the FTR thing. It's the like, if all of this is about your legacy, why do I care? Right? Like, I don't care about your legacy. I don't care if anybody ever says your name again.
Right. And
I get it. Like, he's again painted as the bad guy here. So whatever.
Right. And he said he's doing this for the money, which again, then your attitude would be different instead of confrontational. If you're doing it for the money, you're saying to my dumb brain that you don't actually hate this guy.
I would have instructed him of like, so I like the Jericho thing of like, hey, listen, you are one of the greats right now. But if you'll remember, everybody said you were destined for a fucking neck injury and wheelchair bound. And I called you, like, I like all that, right? Like, I called you and told you to slow down and you listened to me then, right? But somewhere along the line, you stopped listening to the other things I've said and you've turned into this piece of shit, right? And then he can be like, yeah, I did listen to you then. But you know what? You were also wrong then and you're still wrong now. And I'm going to fucking show you it all out, right? Because I'm going to take all your money, take all your fucking friends, right? Like that kind of thing, right? Like,
so who wins?
Yeah. Ospreay wins.
1,000,000% because Sammy Guevara was standing there and he did nothing. So he's going to do something at the pay-per-view. What that is, I don't know, whether it's on purpose or on accident, but he's doing something.
Remember we had 2.0 and Daniel Garcia
Sammy
being like, hey, listen, is your friend going to be there when you need him?
Uh-huh.
Right? I got the switchblade comb. And I love the Garcia at the end, just the fucking look up and down. Like,
you didn't even dance on him.
Yeah.
You didn't even dance. You didn't even get a dance.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even get a dance.
I
wouldn't even be shocked.
In any way, I don't see them being like Jericho got the win over Ospreay here. It just doesn't feel right.
Well, don't be shocked either if you see all of Jericho Appreciation Society. You see Angelo and Jack or Jake Hager and all these guys fucking walk out, and then it's Sammy going, "Here's my shot," or something. Hold the foot, something like that.
Right.
And then
Hold
that's
the
how
foot.
Jericho loses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always hold the foot.
All right. You always hold the foot.
The one thing you cannot recover from. If somebody's holding your foot, you can't.
I can't kick out.
You're
I can't
fucked.
kick out.
You're completely immobile.
I can't move my shoulders because my ankle's being touched.
Anytime the cops need to subdue a perp, you hold their ankle
man.
down on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Two things I always learn. Grab the shoelaces and drawstrings of any person and you got them.
You got him.
I saw at Kelsey Jam, when I went to Kelsey Jam, there was this drunk guy getting really fucking rowdy and they kicked him out and he was like, "I ain't going." And they're like moving him and stuff like that. And it was raining. So he's wearing this coat, like this Nike zip up coat. And this fucking security guard, which I get it. You probably got hired the day before, but he's like grabbing the drawstrings of his jacket and he's like, "Come here," and all that. And so the guy just was like, "Take the jacket." Like, "I'm fine." And I was like, "How are you security?" Yeah. Oh man. And I got so excited, Tim. Emily will tell you this. So it was right by us. And I was just like, this is my shot. Cause I love it if I can hit someone and not be in trouble. So I boxed her out and I was like, "You get right behind me." And I squared up and I was like, "Just 2 more steps and I can do it. And no one's going to be mad at me."
Right.
And then he fucking fell. And I was like, "God damn it." I was so mad. I just wanted to
I trained all day for this.
I didn't train, but I just wanted to just, because he was being a jerk too. It wasn't as if it was just a drunk guy and people got on to him for being drunk. He was being an ass. But anyway,
he was getting thrown out of the place, like usually.
Right, he was getting thrown out because he should have been getting thrown out. Yeah. All right, now let's go to a singles match for quote the Real World Championship. It's Samoa Joe taking on 1986 Hulk Hogan, better known as CM Punk.
When I told my boss about this match, he said, "Man, that match is going to go on too long because I just want to see Samoa Joe just beat the shit out of CM Punk in very short fashion." CM Punk wins this. There's no, he's coming away with the Real World title, right? Like whether he wins or gets disqualified or whatever, but I'm going to put down CM Punk wins.
CM Punk wins.
Yeah.
Here's how, look, give me the pin, right? You want to give me the pin? This is how I'm doing it. Because at All Out, you're going to do Ricky Starks, CM Punk, right? That just makes sense. It's in Chicago, Real World Champion. Ricky Starks isn't on this show because he got suspended because he's going to be at All Out, right? Totally cool. Like all of that. How I would book this is, and again, if you're paying attention to Ring of Honor, it makes sense. If you're not, then you might be interested and you might get Ring of Honor or at least the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I would have kind of a back and forth thing, but then Samoa Joe is just way bigger, way stronger, way more Samoa Joe, and just wears down CM Punk. And he's just and body shots, all the stuff that he does, right? And he's doing the stuff, and he even does, Punk tries another backflip and he walks away from it and all that. And then Joe's just looking at him and he's kind of showboating. And then all of a sudden you hear, "Boys!" and Dalton Castle in front of 80,000, and you get 100 boys, fucking linemen, fucking injured, and he's just like, "Ooh," Peacock. And just does all the stuff, and he's just peacocking, and someone just like, in this moment, this motherfucker wants to come here now,
with the smoke now,
and then Dalton Castle walks up on the boys to the point, if you can do it structurally, because it's going to be hard to walk on humans.
Right. Yeah.
But if you can get him structurally walking up to be face to face with Samoa Joe, and then he does the peacock thing, and Samoa Joe's like, "What?" And Punk gets the roll up 1, 2, 3. And then Joe's like, "I'm killing Dalton Castle." And then you go like, first off, who's Dalton Castle? Second off, why do they hate each other? And third, oh, it's for some Ring of Honor thing. I might check that out. That's how you do it.
Who are these boys?
Oh my God. Dalton Castle in front of 80,000 needs to happen. Like,
they're being criminal if they don't get him out there. It's somehow. He's got to be on the buy-in. He's got to be on there somehow.
Yeah, some type of over the top something, but that's how I would do it. Because if you just have if you just have CM Punk hit another broken ass GTS that he can't do anymore, which, side note, it wasn't just Samoa Joe he's missing this shit on. Go watch the Hangman ones. He wasn't hitting it on Hangman either, or John Moxley. If you just have him hit that fucking move and pin him, well, now Joe looks weak. And what the fuck did you get out of Punk winning 2 times in a row?
This is what they want to do.
Like,
it's Punk. It's because it's Punk calling the shots. Peeking behind the curtain, but yeah.
Fucking lame. He is not. Here's the thing: is he is worth it, in my opinion, in the short term, right now to like this time next year. But he's also 40, what, 5, 6, something like that, 44 to 46, somewhere in there. He ain't worth it in the long run, because if hypothetically, if he does all this, I'm winning over Joe, I'm winning over Starks, I'm winning over this, then when he's gone, and then Tony Khan or whoever it is has to do the negotiations for Starks or the Acclaimed or any of the younger acts, and they go, no, unless you treat me like Punk, I'm out of here, then what the fuck was it worth, right?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I also just I'll hear you out if you're going to say he moves some ratings needle. People love the CM Punk. Are they still going to love him when he's not the wrestler and he's got to be a manager or a GM? Like,
right.
Are we still going to love that? And I'm going to make a wild ass guess in cultural anthropology here and say that anybody that still likes CM Punk is somebody who thinks they need to be seen as anti-establishment because that's the thing to do, right? Because you're a simp or you're a whatever because you trust the government or you what, like these kind of guys, right? It's one of these guys who thinks, no, I'm counterculture. I am anti the world. These are the people that love CM Punk. Because that's the same thing. That's what CM Punk tells you, just like all the fucking rest of you that like him. Funny.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, I know you don't like to hear that.
I'm a free thinker. Oh, you eat meat? Oh, of course you would.
What is the libertarian racial breakdown of CM Punk fans, right? Like this kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Don't
he wins. He totally wins.
Me.
CM Punk must pose.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I said 1986 Hulk Hogan. He's being booked exactly like it, except for he has a third of the charisma. That's why I fucking can't stand it, because at least Hogan, for all of his warts and flaws, was at least fun.
Yeah.
And fuck you. He was fun. On screen, he was fun, and he knew how to do it. Fuck you. The only reason you don't like him is because he said some bad shit 15 years ago, but I don't see you motherfuckers holding pitchforks to Stone Cold Steve Austin, who allegedly beat his wife. Oh, but when Stone Cold comes out, okay, same reaction.
Right? Yeah.
Bet it isn't. Pussies. All right. I just don't like that. I don't like, right? Like, if we're gonna be consistent with hating Hulk Hogan, then hate all the motherfuckers that have the bad shit in their past, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
House of Black. Speaking of Hulk Hogan, House of Black.
Yeah.
The all-white group that has black in their name. Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King.
House of Blacklist.
Yeah, House of Blacklist. That's actually great. Oh, okay. So House of Blacklist takes on the acclaimed and badass Billy Gunn. And let's quickly talk about this. So the acclaimed walk out on Dynamite, not rapping, not wearing any jerseys, no scissor me nothing. It's let's fight, which was kind of silly because you knew, like, you have a bat or something or a gun.
Yeah.
I don't have a gun. Yeah. But
Cash has got a gun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just
might be in the evidence room at the moment, but yeah.
or in his pickup, apparently. But again, they come out and they're like, let's fight. And so here comes House of Black. And in what I thought was one of the most passionate, real promos I've seen in quite some time, Billy Gunn comes out
Yeah.
And his hands shaking. He calls them their kids, which on Twitter, Austin Gunn's like, oh, you unretired for this? Like, what an asshole or something, which is great.
Yeah.
But his hands shaking. His fucking veins are popping out. He needs another shot here in like 20 minutes. But he's like, boys, I'm going to get you. And he says, it's not going to be daddy ass that's coming. It's a guy who he didn't think he was going to see in a long time. It's badass Billy Gunn.
The thing about that is badass Billy Gunn is daddy ass, is Mr. Ass, is, all of the incarnations of anything ass related Billy Gunn. It's all been the same guy.
The only two differences, there's been 3 Billy Gunn characters. There's been Smoking Guns.
Yeah, let's
Billy
bring
Gunn.
that one back. Let's get him out there.
Yeah.
Smoking Guns Billy Gunn back.
Right.
He can bring Bart with him.
been-
We know he's got a knockout punch.
Yeah. Get him, actually. That's actually a good idea if they reunited. Then you have Billy Gunn, which has been Mr. Ass, Badass, Daddy Ass, that guy.
Yeah.
And then you have Billy and Chuck, which was like, we're kind of into this stuff, but maybe we're not, And then it got to the like, well, I'm not like that, which was whatever. Remember how that was a controversy? Like, oh my God, are they really going to get married? Fucking people still support WWE.
Yeah.
You believe that? Not me. So who we got? House of Blacklist, or we got Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed?
This clean shaven Malachi Black throws me for a loop as well, right? It kind of makes me be like, what the fuck is this guy here going on?
Yeah.
This is the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. We're going to get the big scissor me and the thing. It's weird that we got here. This makes me feel like another, like if we peek behind the curtain, Billy Gunn wasn't supposed to retire when he did in the ring, right? That their reactions were like, what are you doing? Right? And then he was like, nah, fuck it, I'm done. And they were like, okay. And they were like, can you give us one more, right? For fucking, we were going to do the scissoring thing. You'd be like, all right, fine, one more fucking thing, right? That's kind of what it felt like, because it feels weird that you're just like, we're retiring, House of Black crushes some boots, and now that means all rage from the hell within my soul must be summoned. I get they beat up the Acclaimed, but I'm also still, I know it's wrestling. We're supposed to do this, right? You beat up my friends, I'm going to beat you up. But like, we act as if like you did something shocking when you beat my friend up, when I'm in a business where my friends get beat up every single week. Every time like this happens. Like, why is everybody acting like, I can't believe you've wronged me here? Like, this is the game we play. But I think, we're definitely getting the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, and this is gonna be in a moment where we got to pick things back up. This is coming after, maybe after like the Stadium Stampede, when we have just this bloody brawl and everybody's like, whoa, right? We need something to go, whoop. Right? Or maybe we have a shocking heel moment or something, right? We need a pick me up, and I think we're going to get the happy, we all get the scissor me for the last time.
I think I agree with that. However, I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, I thought this would kick off the show. Listen, and then, whoop, whoop, because then we're all into it, right? Everyone's paying attention. No one's in the concession area. We're all right.
Same role.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, same role, but it's the get everyone happy, that thing. All right. So we're both going Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed. All right.
Yeah.
New tree. But hold on. Your logic, though, I just want to push back on, because you're saying,
oh, is it for the titles?
Hey, it's for the titles. So then Billy Gunn would then have to keep coming out here.
Yeah, maybe
this is what it felt like to me. Yeah, because this is what it felt like to me, is it did feel genuine when the Acclaim were looking at Billy Gunn. And to me, it felt like, hey, we've got this idea that we're going to do all of these things. And the Acclaim were like, awesome, cool. And then Billy Gunn starts to do it. And maybe like Anthony Bowens whispers in his ear. And he's like, we're supposed to do this in November. And he's like, Tony told me we got to do it now. And they're like, oh shit, okay, I guess we're doing the storyline now. Right, that's how it felt to me.
Maybe so, yeah. And maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe like he has the one last run and they're the trios champion or something, and we get it one last ride or something like that. Or maybe he just gets a like, hey, this was great, guys, but like you got to find a third for the trios. I can't do it anymore or something, right? Like,
and it's AR Fox. No,
Yeah.
that would be cool though. Because AR Fox and Swerve was cool as shit, and they just ended that with like a heartbeat, like whatever.
Poor AR Fox, man. Just, turn on your friend. Now you got no friends.
And then Darby's like, but I still love you. Remember when you almost killed Nick Wayne over here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You tracked him down at his personal residence. Yeah, didn't even run that by Nick. Like, hey, listen, I know, like, you know what I mean? Like, Nick's over there like, bitch.
Yeah.
You talking about the guy who put a fucking piano wire around my neck and, like, had a fucking knife to my throat?
Well, and here's the other thing. You could have, going back to that match real quick, instead of making it a tag match, coffin match, you could have done Darby, Sting, and Nick Wayne versus Swerve, AR Fox, and Christian Cage. You didn't need to kick AR Fox out. You could have just said, Swerve could have got on the microphone after they lost, and Sting, like I say, Sting causes the distraction. Nick Wayne gets the pin. Swerve then gets on there and is like, I'm tired of being outnumbered, and I'm tired of this 18-year-old. You're in this, and we're also getting one more. And then it's Christian says, oh, you got a dead dad? That's fucking cool. Which, goddamn. Here's the thing. It's getting to the point where he said last night, he goes, I hear you have a dad. And everyone's like, oh, God.
God, Jesus Christ. Yeah. And then everybody was like, oh, man. Like, even the commentators were like, God damn it, dude. You know what I mean? You could tell they were like, don't fucking do this again. Yeah, he goes, I heard you have a father. And then, like, just, he knew what was coming, right? He's such a master at this. Did you notice, too, when he flubbed his line and then blamed it on the crowd, right? Yeah. When he's like, pipe down when I'm speaking or conducting business or whatever. Like, he's so good. Yeah, that thing. Yeah. And Nick Wayne played it off, too, like, this bitch. Like, he's about to fucking.
Well, and,
Christian's the best. Yeah, everybody who has a dead dad has to go through Christian now. It just has to happen.
But side note about that segment, and I'm going based off of memory. They went to shots of Nick Wayne going, don't you talk about him. They didn't go to the mother that she wasn't cleared.
Oh, yeah. Was she told? Yeah. You would hope old Nikki, you know what I mean, was like, hey, Mom.
They didn't go to any shots of her.
Listen, she probably knows the business, right? You got to hope she's been around, right? She knows the deal.
Well,
we'll give her a T-shirt and let somebody, Sting will sign her a T-shirt. It'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, Christian never heard of him, so he must have sucked. God.
Or Christian can just, he knows how to, let moms get a little more calm, relax a little bit. They'll be cool with it. She'll be fine with it. Yeah, he knows how to. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
But anyhow, going to that coffin match, instead of kicking out AR Fox, you could have just made it a 6-man. Anyhow.
Yeah.
And it's not like as if you. Go ahead.
Can only move up the all-time great list by becoming the guy who shit talks your dead dad and fucks your mom, right? Like, he's only getting cooler, right?
Oh, yeah. Man. Well, if you have Billy Gunn and the Acclaim win, you couldn't do it. Unless you turn him heel, maybe. But here's the reason why you actually make that a 6-man. It's because then Nick Wayne, Sting, and Darby Allin can go after the 6-man championship, right? God, I'm so much better than Tony Khan. I just don't get it. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. All right, let's get into now what we really want to talk about here. We got our picks in. Now we're here to the main event. Again, according to Wikipedia, if anything else is added, suck it. It is champion, AEW World Heavyweight Champion, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, taking on challenger and potentially ROH World Tag Team Champion, maybe, Adam Cole, Bay. Tim, who are you picking?
Man, this is so hard. This is so hard because I could write this so many ways that are all one of the best stories in pro wrestling. So I think Roddy Strong and the Turd in the Punch Bowl group are getting involved here, right?
Kingdom. Yep.
Yeah, the Kingdom.
That's important for my picks. That's important for my picks. So remember that they're called the Kingdom. So go ahead.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they're getting involved, but they could go either way, right? it could be to help Adam Cole, and he's got this little faction now, right? And he's, blah, blah, blah. And we've got MJF as a sympathetic babyface moving forward, which how the fuck did anybody think that was going to be a thing? Or MJF shows you who he really is, right?
Yep.
And now you could even get Roddy gets involved because all right, I got it. MJF is still the heel. He's going to turn on Adam Cole. Roddy Strong comes out there. We think it's to help Adam Cole, right? Adam Cole's like, nah, never mind. Get out of here. I got this. MJF takes that moment to undercut him, right? Fucking Kansas City cunt punt. Get the victory. Roddy Strong wasn't there to help out MJF anyway. MJF's like, piss off, fuck you. And then Roddy's just like, told you were a bitch, Adam Cole, right? And now he's standing over him. That lets Adam Cole go after Roddy Strong in the ROH world. MJF continues on as the heel champ. Smarter, better, played them for fools. MJF. That's what I'm going with.
Right. Okay. So I like that. So you're going MJF. Here's the three scenarios that I can think of. You do either a schmoz finish where Roderick Strong gets involved. What the fuck? You screwed this up for everyone. The biggest main event of all time. And now no one fucking won. Well,
he injures
Roderick
another
Strong
body
says,
part in the process.
well, no. Roderick Strong says, well, fuck both of you. Next week at All Out, in the main event, it's a triple threat. Roderick Strong versus MJF versus Adam Cole. Can do that. Because again, you need a main event for All Out. Most likely it's going to be CM Punk, but you still need MJF in there somehow because we were there in Chicago. MJF got a bigger reaction than CM Punk, even though he was returning, but still, he did. That's one way. Second way is, as MJF told you, when he beat up CM Punk, is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing you that he was never real, and he's MJF, right? And God damn it, we all fell for it. He's the devil. Because he keeps saying any devil worshippers out here. He's not going away from that. He's not saying I've turned over a new leaf, right? He says I'm a scumbag, all of that stuff, right? So that's one way. And then the third way I think is interesting, and I feel for some reason in my gut feel like Tony Khan maybe thinks of this, is Adam Cole turns on MJF with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom, and we get the Undisputed Kingdom who formed in the UK, and we get fucking t-shirts that say it, the UK and all the and there's t-shirts, right? And Adam Cole's like,
Undisputed
ain't I
Kingdom.
fucking great? I'm the undisputed champion for the Undisputed Kingdom, and all my friends always had my back. You never saw it. And then if they wanted to get really crazy, they could go back to these vignettes and we're like at the Mexican or at Outback Steakhouse. You never saw it, but the Kingdom were sitting there just staring at him, or you never saw it.
The waiter.
Yeah. Or like at the play thing, Roderick Strong was sitting in his car staring at it. Like, you know what I mean? You could do that. If you
they
really
hung
wanted
the
to get
kangaroo
crazy.
kick painting. Right?
Yeah. They got it all in his head, all of that stuff, So those are the three scenarios. My gut tells me we're not taking title off of MJF until at least side note. And again, I don't know where any of this stuff is going because I didn't see this coming, right? I mean, I kind of saw it, but I didn't see it this way. I think you have MJF as the champion up until New Year's Eve when his contract expires and he's gonna take the championship. Wink, wink, wink. Who is that like? And if no one can defeat me, bye-bye. And then who says I've done this playbook before. And CM Punk walks out there and a New Year's Eve blobbity blobbity blob. It's to unify the championships, the real world champion who never lost versus the champion who wants to leave, MJF.
Yeah.
So going to this match, I think MJF says, I'm the fucking devil. And we get Punk over here being the babyface, and then MJF going, I'm the fucking devil. And then we go, we like the devil.
Yeah,
100%, we'd rather be hot in hell.
I'm excited for this event. I also love that it's going to be middle of the day into the evening, then we'll be done with it. Like, it's great. Well, great.
Do
Early
all
to
these
bed,
fucking pay-per-views.
we're old guys.
Yeah, do all these. We'll do all these fucking pay-per-views in
London. Yeah, listen, if you're going to run them from noon to fucking 5 on a Sunday, I'm great. I'm not going to the event, so I don't care if it's in London or if it's in fucking San Francisco, if it's in fucking, put it there.
But
in
I
London.
mean, make it at noon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but make it at noon. That's what I'm talking about. That's when, hell yeah, man. I'm excited for that. Also, side note, you don't care, but the UFC on Saturday is doing a fight in Singapore. Starts at 9:00 in the morning. Fucking perfect. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Wake up.
Well, you know what else is perfect? Is this damn show. So we will take a break from it because we've been going for a long time, but we had so much to talk about. Getting excited for pro wrestling's biggest event with AEW All In coming up. So get your picks into us. Hashtag tweet the table, tableshow@gmail.com. See if you can pick any better than us. And if you suck, maybe you too could wear a Jeff Jarrett shirt.
The Spanish announce table.